Chapter 165. Gui Jianchao was almost scared to death. When he heard the name Yang Ming, he was stunned. Why is it so familiar? Is it that Yang Ming? But he quickly denied this idea. Yang Ming was just a little punk. How could he know the underworld boss? Let him in. Bao Sanli said. The door of the lounge was pushed open. Yang Ming walked in casually. Brother Bao, what are you doing? Brother Yang, welcome. It's nothing. An idiot is flirting with my girl. I'm going to throw him into the sea. Bao Sanli smiled. Oh, then you quickly get rid of this guy. We haven't seen each other for a long time. We have to get together later. Yang Ming said. That's right. Right, Brother Yang, why are you free to come here today? Bao Sanli asked. Well, my cousin and my girlfriend forced me to come here to meet a client. Yang Ming said, once I'm done, I'll come here to take a look. So that's the case. Bao Sanli nodded and then said to the underlings around him, you guys, quickly get rid of this kid. Don't ruin my and Brother Yang's mood. At this time, Gui Jianchao had already determined that the person who came was Yang Ming, who he just had a meal with. He didn't care if he had any conflicts with Yang Ming. Now, it was more important to save his life. The key was that this Yang Ming seemed to have a high status. Even Brother Bao, the underworld boss, called him Brother Yang. So Gui Jianchao quickly shouted, Yang Ming, save me. Motherfucker, how can you call Brother Yang's name? An underling flew up and kicked Gui Jianchao's butt. Ouch! Gui Jianchao was in so much pain that his tears almost flew out. Yang Ming pretended to be surprised and squatted down. Then, he opened his eyes exaggeratedly. Isn't this Vice President Gua? Why are you here? Brother Yang, save me. Gui Jianchao didn't dare to call his name. I don't want to die. Die? Brother Leopard, what's going on? Yang Ming asked in confusion. Hurry up and release Vice President Gua. He is a friend of my girlfriend and my cousin. Brother Yang, you better not worry about this matter. This guy tried to rape my girl. It's not a small matter. If I let him go, I, Bao Sanli, will lose a lot of face in the underworld. Bao Sanli said with a dignified expression. Brother Leopard, is there no room for negotiation? Can't you give me some face? Yang Ming asked tentatively. Brother Yang, you are in this underworld. You should understand that we value face the most in this underworld. This little brat is not related to you. You have to find a reason to stand up for him, right? Bao Sanli's words were very reasonable. Even if you want to protect people, you have to have a reason, right? He is my underling. Yang Ming hesitated and said. Yes, yes. I am Brother Yang's underling. Brother Leopard, please give face to Brother Yang and let me go. Gui Jianchao heard Yang Ming pleading for him. He was so excited that he didn't know what to do. Yang Ming recognized him as an underling. That was undoubtedly the sound of nature. Is that so? Bao Sanli glanced at Gui Jianchao. Yes, actually I am Brother Yang's underling. Follower. Gui Jianchao said. Then why didn't you say so earlier? Bao Sanli asked. I was afraid of smearing Brother Yang's face. I didn't dare to say it. Gui Jianchao's reaction was fast enough. It was reasonable. Well, today I will give face to Brother Yang. I will temporarily put your life in your hands. Bao Sanli hesitated and said, however, you have to remember that you are now Brother Yang's underling. I don't want to and I don't dare to touch you. But if one day Brother Yang doesn't want you, then that day will be your death anniversary. Yes, yes. I will be Brother Yang's underling for a lifetime. Brother Leopard, you can rest assured. I will never do anything wrong to Brother Yang again. Gui Jianchao said quickly. Okay, but I have already recorded what happened just now. This time, Brother Yang is covering for you, so I will temporarily seal it. This is also a restriction for you. If you do something to discredit Brother Yang in the future, I will publicize it. Yang Ming said. Brother Yang, you are not the type of person who would dare to do such a thing. I don't think any company can accept that their employee is a brokeback, right? Bao Sanli threatened. I don't dare. I, Gui Jianchao, will follow Brother Yang and Brother Leopard's lead in the future. I won't dare to go against them. Gui Jianchao promised. Okay, then I will let you go this time. As the saying goes, it is better to squash enmity than to keep it alive. This time I will let it go. You are a vice president, right? I may need your help in the future. Bao Sanli said. Brother Leopard, you can rest assured. In the future, you can ask me to do anything you want. Gui Jianchao's words were sincere. He didn't dare to say no. Not only was his life in the hands of others, but the evidence in the hands of others was enough to kill him. Okay, you hurry up and leave. Don't be an eyesore here. Brother Yang and I still need to talk about the old days. Bao Sanli waved his hand impatiently and drove Gui Jianchao out. After Gui Jianchao left, Yang Ming and Bao Sanli looked at each other and smiled. Brother Yang, you are so sarcastic. This time, this guy with the surname Guo will definitely be grateful to you. In the future, he won't dare to not listen to your words. Bao Sanli revealed a sinister smile. Wasn't it all thanks to Brother Leopard's help? Yang Ming also smiled. We are brothers. Why are you saying so many foreign words? Bao Sanli waved his hand. Let's go. Di Lei is also here. The four of us should have a good drink. At this point, Yang Ming had buried a nail beside Wang Jitao and his son. This idea was completely thought of when he saw Bao Sanli. President Hua's words gave him a lot of inspiration. That was to grasp a person's weakness. Then, this person would have no choice but to listen to his words. Gui Jianchao was a time bomb that Yang Ming buried in the Xiongfeng group. Although it might not be useful now, it would definitely be useful in the future. He wasn't afraid that Gui Jianchao would betray him. For a timid person like him, his life and future were the most important. At around 8 p.m., Yang Ming walked out of the nightless club. He took out his phone and looked at it. The phone call in the bathroom was actually from Lan Ling. Yang Ming suddenly shivered. Voodoo. Yang Ming actually forgot that he had a voodoo in his body. Just now, Sun Jia and I. Impulsive was the devil. Would the voodoo in my body be triggered because of this? Yang Ming returned Lan Ling's call with fear. Yang Ming, where are you? I miss you. Why didn't you pick up the phone just now? Lan Ling's voice didn't sound wrong. This made Yang Ming feel relieved. I was socializing outside just now. I didn't hear it. Yang Ming explained. Oh, are you coming to see me tomorrow? Lan Ling said coquettishly, I just finished that. I don't need to wear a condom. I'll go tomorrow. I can't go today. It's too late. I have to go home. Yang Ming was tempted by Lan Ling. Okay, then I'll hang up. I miss you. Lan Ling kissed Yang Ming on the other end of the phone and hung up the phone. Yang Ming sighed. Did I betray Lan Ling? Anyway, what's done is done. It's useless to regret. I'll think about it when the time comes. Yang Ming comforted himself and stopped thinking about this matter. When he returned home, Yang Ming saw that his father's face wasn't looking good. Yang Ming felt strange. Dad, what's wrong with you? I asked you to go to your cousin to ask for learning methods. Why didn't you accept it humbly? Yang Dehai said with some anger, Big Ming, you're not young anymore. It's right for your cousin to bring you to see the society. How can you do things your own way and be so careless? Dad, I have a sense of propriety. Was it my cousin who called to complain? Yang Ming was a little angry. It must be Yang Li who saw that she didn't humiliate him today, so she called to complain. Ai, Big Ming, at least your cousin has entered the society. What she said should be for your own good. Yang Dehai sighed. Dad, I know. You don't have to worry about it. I can handle my own things. My cousin's way of doing things really doesn't suit me. You see, even without my cousin's way of doing things, I'm still working very well at Uncle Zhang's. Yang Ming said. That's true. Well, I won't talk about you anymore. Yang Dehai shook his head. You're going to college soon. You should buy some clothes on the street tomorrow. Look at your clothes. They're all student clothes. They're not suitable for college students. Buy clothes. Yang Ming was stunned. What clothes? Aren't college students still students? How can that be? Mother Yang also came over and said, a big child should act like a big child. You're in a relationship. How can you wear children's clothes? Tomorrow, you go with Chen Mengyan. I'll give you the money later. Chapter 166. When Yang Ming heard his mother's words, he broke into a sweat. Am I that unbearable? However, when he recalled the way Sun Jia looked at him as if she was looking at a younger brother, Yang Ming felt that he was really behind the times. This was also the reason why Guo Jianchao didn't pay attention to Yang Ming before today. A street punk dressed like a student. How badass could he be? But why did Mom suddenly mention Chen Mengyan? Yang Ming had an appointment with Lan Ling tomorrow. Mom, Chen Mengyan might not be free tomorrow. Let's talk about it another day. Yang Ming said. She's free. Why wouldn't she be free? I have already talked to her. Mother Yang said with a smile. Ah. Talk to? What do you mean? Yang Ming was a bit inexplicable. Just now, Chen Mengyan called home to look for you. Then I asked her if she was free tomorrow. She told me that she was free. Mother Yang said. Oh my God. Yang Ming was a bit dumbfounded. It seems that Mom really wants to matchmake me and Chen Mengyan. But I still have something to do tomorrow. Yang Ming was helpless. He had to call back Chen Mengyan. It wasn't that he didn't want to go out with Chen Mengyan. On the contrary, he was particularly happy. It was just that he didn't know how to handle the relationship between her and Lan Ling. Life is really like a dream. A few months ago, he could only fantasize about the campus belle Mengyan from afar. Now, it had become a situation where he was holding a girl on both sides. He was worried about the relationship between the beauties. Hello. Chen Mengyan's voice came from the other side of the phone. At this moment, Chen Mengyan was watching TV in the living room at home. The phone was next to her. When she saw that the caller ID was Yang Ming's number, she quickly picked it up. Mengyan, I am Yang Ming. Yang Ming put away his thoughts and said. I know. Chen Mengyan, of course, knew that it was Yang Ming. Otherwise, she wouldn't simply say, hello. She was still very polite. When she answered the phone, she would add, hello. That, tomorrow. Yang Ming really didn't know what reason to find to reject Chen Mengyan. I'm fine. Shall we meet at the school gate? Chen Mengyan thought that Yang Ming was too shy to ask her out, so she said it first. Yang Ming didn't expect that his hesitation would lead to such a result. Forget it. I'll accompany Chen Mengyan during the day and go to Lan Ling's place at night. Alright, I'll see you at 8 a.m. tomorrow at the entrance of number 4 high school. Since he had decided, Yang Ming would try to set the time earlier so that he could go to Lan Ling's place earlier. Okay, see you there. Chen Mengyan hung up the phone in a sweet mood. She was looking forward to tomorrow's date. After hanging up the phone, Yang Ming went back to his room. He first copied Guo Jinchao's video into his computer. Then, he did the same splitting and compressing process and sent it to a few mailboxes. Yang Ming looked at his mailboxes and found it funny. In just a month, he had already grasped the shortcomings of 3 people. After doing all this, Yang Ming put the letter of guarantee at the bottom of the drawer. In fact, this thing wasn't very useful. The chances of Guo Jianchao betraying him in the future should be very small. After everything was done, he sent a short message to Lan Ling. He told her that he might be late tomorrow. After a while, Lan Ling replied. She told Yang Ming that if he had something to do, he should do it first. She wasn't in a hurry. This made Yang Ming feel very ashamed. He actually went on a date with Chen Mengyan behind Lan Ling's back. He didn't want to lie to Lan Ling, but he couldn't imagine what would happen if Lan Ling found out about this. He didn't want to hurt Lan Ling. This little girl was too pitiful. In this world, he was her only family left. Yang Ming couldn't bear to make her sad again. After playing Do Diju with Wild Female Teacher for a while, Zhang Bin sent him a message. He told him that his driver's license was issued and that he had to collect it tomorrow. Yang Ming had a headache. Why did it have to be tomorrow? Luckily, he could collect it on his behalf. After knowing that Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan were going on a date tomorrow, Zhang Bin volunteered to take on this job. There's no true love in this world, let's call it a day. I have something to do tomorrow morning. I'll play with you another day. Wild Female Teacher, isn't tomorrow the weekend? What's the matter? There's no true love in this world, can't you have something on the weekend? You can go shopping, visit your relatives, and date your girlfriend. What can't you do? Wild Female Teacher, TSK. Definitely not to accompany your girlfriend. There's no true love in this world, why not? Wild Female Teacher, your name is, there's no true love in this world. It means that you don't believe in love at all. There's no true love in this world, damn, that's just an online name. Are you really Wild Female Teacher? I'm not going to talk nonsense with you anymore. I'm going offline. Wild Female Teacher, 8888. The next morning, Yang Ming arrived at the entrance of number 4 high school on time. Chen Mengyan hadn't arrived yet. After waiting for about 3 minutes, Chen Mengyan jumped out of a taxi and ran to Yang Ming. She said embarrassedly, I've been sleeping in during the holidays. I almost didn't wake up. She stuck out her tongue cutely. Hee hee, it's okay. I just arrived. There's still a few minutes before 8. We're both early. Yang Ming smiled. You know how to talk. Chen Mengyan happily held Yang Ming's arm. Now, they didn't need to hide anything even at the entrance of the school. After all, they had reached the age where they could legally date. It was like this in China. There was a clear dividing line between high school and university. If you date in high school, you'll be accused of not doing your job properly and falling in love early. Even if you're 18 years old, you won't be spared. But if you've just entered university, or even just a prospective university student, dating at this time will become reasonable and legal in the eyes of parents and teachers. This was the current situation of education and dating. Although many people knew that it was unreasonable, no one dared to stand up and criticize this ethics. It was also because of this that Yongming and Suya's short relationship that hadn't started yet was collectively killed by the teachers and parents. When people from that age look back, they'll realize that in fact, as long as middle school students fall in love well, it won't have any impact on their studies. Of course, this refers to the psychological scale, not the scale of the relationship between two people. Two people can hug, be affectionate, and even do some things that they love. This isn't the main problem. The main problem is that two people should have a common goal to strive for. They can't just be greedy for enjoyment. Therefore, positive early love should be encouraged, and negative early love should be discouraged. Yongming and Suya belong to the positive type. This is because the two of them talked about problems in their studies most of the time. Some open-minded teachers may turn a blind eye to it, but some like Wu Qiren will pursue it to the end. Chen Mengyan and Yang Ming's relationship is also on the verge of early love. The homeroom teacher, Teacher Li, isn't a fool. Maybe she can see some clues. But Yang Ming's grades are rapidly improving, so Teacher Li doesn't care about these things. Teacher Li belongs to the more open-minded type. So far, Yang Ming is only grateful to two teachers. One is Teacher Li. The scene of her quarrel with Director Jean in the principal's office over Yang Ming's matter is still vivid in Yang Ming's mind. Yang Ming is a person who knows how to repay kindness. He decided to pay a visit to Teacher Li every year in the future. The other is Zhao Ying, who is both a teacher and a friend. Yang Ming is definitely not only grateful to her, but also mixed with a kind of complicated feelings. Yang Ming himself is not clear about his specific feelings for Zhao Ying. But if there is a multiple-choice question in front of him, say, if Zhao Ying and Chen Mengyan fall into the water at the same time, who would he save first? Yang Ming is really difficult to answer. He doesn't know. If he wants to find out the reason, then he can only save the one who is closest to the water first. It's just that I haven't seen Zhao Ying for a long time. I don't know if she is doing well. Is that Jean Gang still harassing her? Thinking of Jean Gang, Yang Ming feels that it is necessary to find a chance to warn this brat to make him stop. That's right, there is also that Jean Shisen. Now that Yang Ming has graduated, he can ignore this teaching director. Number 4 High School is very close to the commercial street. This is also the reason why the two agreed to meet here. It is about a 10-minute walk from here. Mengyan, you should buy a cell phone, right? Yang Ming looked at the telecommunication store in front of him and suddenly thought of a very important question. He doesn't want to be questioned by Chen Mengyan's parents every time he looks for her. Buy a cell phone. Why? I don't need one now. Chen Mengyan asked strangely. Yang Ming of course can't say that he is afraid of being questioned by her parents when he calls her, so he explained, school is about to start. It is inconvenient to not have a cell phone in university. Besides, we can text at night. Then, let's buy one. Cell phones are not too expensive now. Chen Mengyan originally thought that cell phones are dispensable. Now that she heard Yang Ming say it, she feels that she should buy one. Not for anything else, but for two people to text. Chapter 167. The two of them entered a telecommunications store, and the salesperson at the entrance shoved posters into their hands. Association promotion. Look, Sony Ericsson has a special price. Jean Li's latest mobile phone with navigation. Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan smiled at each other. Now was the time for college students to start school. Various manufacturers wouldn't let go of this good opportunity for promotion. What do you want to buy? Yang Ming asked while holding the poster. I don't care. Why don't we buy a cheap one first? Just the same as yours? Asked Chen Mengyan. In fact, Chen Mengyan didn't bring much money. She only took 500 yuan today. She wanted to buy 2 pieces of clothing. She didn't intend to buy a mobile phone. How can that be? Buy a better one with a camera and MP4. Yang Ming knew that the mobile phone was a symbol of identity in school. If you had a broken mobile phone, others wouldn't say it on the surface, but they would definitely look down on you in their heart. There were even people like his cousin, Yang Li, who directly despised others. Yang Ming was thick-skinned. He liked to do things his own way. He didn't care about other people's thoughts. However, Chen Mengyan was a little girl. Her face was thinner. She was different from him. Especially in this era where materialism was rampant, he didn't want Chen Mengyan to be looked down upon by others. Some people might say that Yang Ming was worrying about nothing, but the current social atmosphere was indeed so. No, I don't need it. Besides, I want to use the same one as you. Is this okay? Chen Mengyan shook her head and said. Okay then. Yang Ming was happy when he heard this sentence. He took Chen Mengyan's hand and went to the Nokia counter. The salesperson saw that Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan were both dressed as students, so he directly recommended a few low-cost mobile phones. One of them was the 1200. The mobile phones in Songjiang were cheaper than those in Yunnan. This 1200 was only 218 yuan. It also came with a 30 yuan mobile top-up card. In other words, Chen Mengyan had no choice but to apply for a mobile phone number. However, Yang Ming was a mobile player, so the two of them could join the student group and enjoy the benefits of fighting each other. Chen Mengyan picked a white hairpin. When it was time to pay, Yang Ming paid for it directly. Chen Mengyan slightly frowned. She didn't have the happy expression she had when Yang Ming bought her a hairpin last time. After testing the phone, Chen Mengyan threw the packaging into her backpack and put the phone in her pocket. What's wrong? Mengyan, why are you a little unhappy? Yang Ming also felt that something was wrong with Chen Mengyan. Yang Ming, what's the relationship between us? Chen Mengyan asked hesitantly. What does it matter? Yang Ming was stunned. Could it be that Chen Mengyan felt that with the relationship between the two of them, she couldn't accept such a valuable gift? The two of us are good friends. Yang Ming stuttered and probed. Yang Ming. Chen Mengyan was so angry that she rolled her eyes at him. Are you deliberately making me angry? Mengyan, if you have something to say, just say it. Yang Ming didn't know what Chen Mengyan meant, so he asked directly. Well, Yang Ming, let me ask you. We have been classmates for so many years. Who doesn't know who? Chen Mengyan said sternly, I know very well what your family conditions are like. I don't need to say anything about our current relationship. You should understand it. Do you still need to be like this? What about me? Yang Ming was a little speechless. He felt inexplicable listening to Chen Mengyan's words. What I mean is that we don't need to be so distant. I don't want you to take your parents' money and spend it extravagantly. Chen Mengyan said with a serious expression, I'm not the kind of girl who despises the poor and favors the rich. I hope you can understand this. Ah. Yang Ming didn't know whether to laugh or cry after listening, but his heart was very touched. Chen Mengyan's words made Yang Ming feel that it was his blessing to be able to find such a good girl. Chen Mengyan thought that his current money was still spent by his parents, so she said this. Yang Ming felt that it was necessary to tell Chen Mengyan that he already had financial strength. Mengyan, the money to buy your phone wasn't from my parents. You misunderstood. Yang Ming explained, in fact, I have been working during the holidays. This is also the reason why I am busy during this time. Otherwise, I would often ask you out. Chen Mengyan was stunned and said, work? Are you serious? During this time, Chen Mengyan had already untied the knot in her heart and was ready to be with Yang Ming wholeheartedly. However, Young Ming wasn't as proactive as before when he was in school. She had to call him first. This made Qin Mengyan somewhat annoyed. Now that she listened to Yang Ming's explanation, she was relieved. If he was really working, then it seemed that she had wronged him. Yang Ming directly attributed the reason why he didn't have time to accompany Qin Mengyan to working. Yang Ming himself felt that it was a bit shameless, but he had to do it. Of course, it's true. Yang Ming said, "Didn't Zhang Bin and I go to Yunnan some time ago? I found that I have a very good ability to identify jade. So after I came back, Uncle Zhang invited me to work in his company. I earned more than 8,000 yuan last month." Yang Ming said the set of excuses that he told his parents. What? More than 8,000? Qin Mengyan was also very surprised. Why is it so much? He, 3,000 yuan is the basic salary, and 5,000 yuan is the bonus. I gave a part to my parents. I wanted to give them all, but my mom said that I have to leave some money for Mengyan to buy things. Yang Ming laughed. You are so annoying. Why didn't you say so earlier? You made me say those words. Qin Mengyan said shyly. What's wrong with that? If you didn't say, how would I know that my Mengyan is a good girl? Yang Ming held Qin Mengyan's hand. I can also work part-time in Uncle Zhang's company after I go to school. I don't have to go to work every day. As long as it doesn't affect your studies, I have no objection. But why did Uncle Zhang give you so much money? Qin Mengyan's father was a civil servant, and his monthly salary was only 3,000 yuan. Her mother was a senior executive in a state-owned enterprise, and her monthly salary was only 10,000 yuan. Yang Ming's salary was too high, right? This is nothing. A lot of people get a lot more than me. Besides, didn't I say it? My basic salary is only 3,000 yuan, and the 5,000 yuan is the bonus according to the business. Yang Ming explained. Qin Mengyan stuck out her tongue. Wow, a lot of college students don't have this kind of treatment after graduation. You are good. You haven't even gone to college, and you got such a high-paying job. However, she was more happy. Which girl didn't want her boyfriend to be a capable person? Then you can't spend money. You have to save it in the future. Do you hear me? Qin Mengyan said. You haven't married me yet, and you are already taking over the economic power. Yang Ming said jokingly. What are you talking about? I'm going to ignore you. Qin Mengyan was embarrassed. I'm doing this for your own good. Then do whatever you want. Don't worry. This is just the beginning. I think I will definitely have greater achievements in the future. Yang Ming still had this confidence. So far, his special ability was only used to gamble on stones. Isn't it a bit wasteful? And I believe you. Qin Mengyan nodded. But, since you are so rich, then I won't hesitate to ask the local tyrant for a share of the land. I'm very willing. Yang Ming pretended to be rich. Are you stupid? You are so happy to spend money. Qin Mengyan looked at Yang Ming's expression and found it funny. That depends on who. If it was Xiao Sisi, I wouldn't be willing. Yang Ming also laughed. Xiao Sisi doesn't need you. Then what does Zhang Bin do? Qin Mengyan rolled her eyes at Yang Ming. Although the relationship between the two people was confirmed, Qin Mengyan was still a little nervous when Yang Ming held her hand. This feeling of first love's heartbeat may only be experienced a few times in a person's life. This was the most wonderful feeling between lovers. Compared to some men and women who went to bed as soon as they met, the feeling was many times better. How about we go to that store? Qin Mengyan pointed to a Senma store not far away and asked. Don't think that lovers go to Chanel or Armani when they go out. That was only a YY novel or a place where some very rich people go. Most of the students would still choose casual clothing stores like Tang Shi, Senma, Jeeves, and Benito, which were popular among the commoners. Okay. Yang Ming was ready to buy 2 pieces of clothing. Yang Ming, what do you think of that? Chen Mengyan suddenly asked. Yang Ming looked in the direction of Chen Mengyan's finger. It turned out to be a couple's t-shirt. It was the kind that was more cute. Not bad. Do you want to try it? Chapter 168. Yang Ming asked the salesperson to get a couple t-shirt with the words China Heart on it to support the Olympics. Then, he and Chen Mengyan went into the fitting room. Needless to say, the two of them were quite compatible. So, Yang Ming paid the money directly. The two of them walked out of the store wearing the t-shirt. Miss Zhao. Chen Mengyan was stunned when she saw the person walking toward her. Chen Mengyan, Yang Ming. Zhao Ying was also slightly stunned. The two of you, Zhao Ying saw Chen Mengyan and Yang Ming wearing matching outfits. She felt bitter in her heart. Even a fool could see what was going on. Sister Ying, the university is about to start. Mengyan and I came out to buy some clothes. Jean Gang. Yang Ming saw Jean Gang following behind Zhao Ying. He suddenly felt uncomfortable in his heart. It was reasonable to say that it was impossible for him and Zhao Ying to be together. However, when he saw her walking with Jean Gang, he still felt jealous in his heart. This wasn't because Jean Gang was a jerk. Yang Ming was very jealous of him. If it were other people, Yang Ming would still feel this way. Men were like this. They always ate what was in front of them and looked at what was in the pot. It was best to even take what was in other people's bowl for themselves. But now, seeing Jean Gang following behind Zhao Ying, this feeling was stronger. Teacher Jean is also here. Yang Ming snorted twice with a fake smile. It's Yang Ming. Hee hee, hello, hello. Jean Gang's face changed. He didn't expect to meet this god of plague here. Teacher Jean, where's my bicycle? Yang Ming glanced at Jean Gang and asked calmly. Chen Mengyan and Zhao Ying were both stunned. They did not understand what Yang Ming meant. However, Jean Gang understood. He was worried. Why do you still remember this? Isn't it just a bicycle? Do you have to care about me the moment we meet? Last time, you cheated me out of so much money and asked me to treat you, but I didn't say anything. I didn't dare to say anything. Forget it, next time I'll avoid you as far as I can. Well, next time, I'll definitely bring it for you next time, Jean Gang said perfunctorily. How could Yang Ming not understand? But he didn't want a bicycle at all. The current Yang Ming was not the same as before. He could even afford a car, let alone a bicycle. Moreover, Yang Ming was getting a driver's license in preparation for buying a car. Teacher Jean, don't forget next time. Yang Ming said faintly. Then he looked at Zhao Ying and said bitterly, Sister Ying, you guys go ahead. Mengyan and I will leave first. Yang Ming did not know what the relationship between Zhao Ying and Jean Gang was, but from the fact that they went shopping together, he guessed that their relationship might have improved. Yang Ming shook his head self-deprecatingly. He couldn't help but scold himself for being shameless. I have Lan Ling, and now I have Chen Mengyan. Why am I still thinking about Sister Ying? Ah. Yang Ming, Zhao Ying wanted to say something, but Yang Ming had already turned and left. In fact, it wasn't that Yang Ming didn't want to say more to Zhao Ying, but he couldn't. Some words couldn't be said in front of Chen Mengyan and Jean Gang. He was afraid that he wouldn't be able to control himself if he spoke too much. It was better to find an excuse and leave quickly. When there was a chance in the future, he would ask Zhao Ying out alone and explain it clearly. Yang Ming. Chen Mengyan was also a bit strange. Why was Yang Ming so rude today? Zhao Ying was his teacher, and she was also his godsister. How could he have such an attitude? However, she association with Yang Ming and Jin Gang's words. Her intuition told her that Yang Ming and Jin Gang seemed to have a conflict, so she naturally blamed all of this on Jin Gang. Yang Ming left because he didn't want to see Jin Gang. I'm sorry, Miss Zhao. Yang Ming is like this. He's very careless. Chen Mengyan explained embarrassedly. Originally, this was a reasonable and polite sentence, but it was not the case in Zhao Ying's ears. Chen Mengyan's explanation for Yang Ming was like what couples would say when they were exonerating each other. It was like Chen Mengyan could make decisions for Yang Ming. Zhao Ying's face darkened. She said, "It's fine." Then she left dejectedly. Chen Mengyan was very puzzled. Why were the siblings so baffled? It wasn't that Chen Mengyan wasn't sensitive, but Chen Mengyan simply didn't think of the relationship between Yang Ming and Zhao Ying in other places. Zhao Ying was Yang Ming's teacher and his godsister. Although Zhao Ying was very beautiful, Chen Mengyan didn't feel threatened. So she didn't suspect anything. She smiled apologetically to Zhao Ying and chased after Yang Ming. Zhao Ying, your relationship with Yang Ming isn't normal. After Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan left, Jin Gang asked tentatively. And? Zhao Ying was shocked. Could it be that Jin Gang saw something? Now the school was competing for a job. If Jin Gang saw something and spread it around, she might even lose her job. Although the relationship between a teacher and a student wasn't a big deal, it was very serious in the eyes of the school leaders. In addition, Jin Gang and Yang Ming had a conflict, and his pursuit of her was rejected. It was inevitable that he would hold a grudge. So, she quickly explained, "No, nothing. I'm his godsister." Jin Gang thought, "Godsister? Looking at your blushing face, I'm afraid that you will become a godsister soon." I don't know if I still have hope, but the situation is a bit bleak. Zhao Ying looked at Jin Gang's strange expression. She thought, could it be that he saw something? She quickly added, "It's just that our relationship is better." Jin Gang smiled bitterly. "Are you afraid that I'll talk nonsense? Do I dare? I don't want to die yet." If Yang Ming knew that I was talking nonsense, it would be strange if he didn't break my legs. Nothing. In fact, I also want to have a good relationship with the students. I'm quite envious of you. Jin Gang had to say, "Let's go. We still have to look at the clothes. The school uniform not only has to be cheap, but the quality has to be about the same." Zhao Ying and Jin Gang were sent by the school. Zhao Ying represented the first year of high school, and Jin Gang represented the sports team. Originally, this matter should be handled by the leader of the school year, Teacher Li Huihua. But she was old and her vision was older, so she recommended the youngest Zhao Ying to look at the clothes. However, Yang Ming misunderstood that Zhao Ying and Jin Gang were on a date, so he was depressed. Zhao Ying didn't misunderstand. Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan were indeed on a date. Both of them were very depressed. After they separated, they walked in different directions and brushed past each other. "Yang Ming, do you have a conflict with Teacher Jin?" Chen Mengyan asked. "Conflict? It's more than just a conflict." Yang Ming sneered. He didn't need to hide from Chen Mengyan, so he told Chen Mengyan about how Jin Gang found someone to pretend to be a robber and added fuel to the fire after Chen Afu's complaint. "He's so hateful." Chen Mengyan was very indignant after listening. How can this kind of person be a teacher? He should be fired. Hee. In fact, people like Jean Gang exist in all walks of life. It is often this kind of black sheep that makes the reputation of these industries bad. Yang Ming shook his head. For example, in the medical industry, some doctors ask for a red packet from the patient's family, so people say that the hospital is too evil. But this is only what we see. There are still many good doctors who don't see it. The education industry is the same. Teacher Li and Sister Ing are very good teachers. You are right. Chen Mengyan agreed. The so-called good news doesn't leave the door, but bad news travels 1,000 miles. When Yang Ming talked about how he tricked Jean Gang to heavenly earth and made him pay a high price, Chen Mengyan laughed. Yang Ming, why are you so bad? So much money. Isn't it to let Jean Gang sell his blood? Even if he sells his blood, he needs someone to want it. Hee. Yang Ming temporarily forgot about Zhao Ying. After all, the best way to comfort the lovelorn trauma was to be with another person you like. Robbery. Suddenly, a girl's scream came. Yang Ming looked up. A man wearing sunglasses ran from the agricultural bank to this side. As he ran, he threatened loudly, "If you don't want to die, quickly get out of my way." Obviously, this man was the robber. The people on the side of the road were very obedient. After being shouted by the man in sunglasses, they all moved to the sides. After all, robbing wasn't something that ordinary people could do anything about. It had become a modern people's motto to not care about things that didn't concern them. Children's parents would tell their children from an early age to not meddle in other people's business outside. Don't stand up for things that didn't concern them. Therefore, this was the reason why bad people were so rampant now. After all, the police force was limited. It was impossible to be everywhere. Yang Ming was in a bad mood. He didn't want to care about this, but the man in sunglasses ran to Yang Ming's side. Chapter 169. Get out of the way. The man in sunglasses yelled as he ran. Yang Ming frowned and raised his head. He looked coldly at the man in sunglasses who was running over and stood motionless. The man in sunglasses also saw Yang Ming in front of him. When he saw that he didn't dodge like the others, he was stunned. Although he had been robbing for a while, and there were few people who dared to be nosy, it didn't mean that there weren't any. Seeing Yang Ming, who was more than 180 centimeters tall, with dark skin and a burly figure standing there staring at him, the man in sunglasses was a little scared. He didn't dare to confront Yang Ming directly. When he reached Yang Ming, he could only turn a corner. Yang Ming didn't want to be nosy because of his bad mood, but some people didn't think so. For example, Teacher Jean Gang thought that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to show off in front of Zhao Ying. He didn't think that Yang Ming had any charm that could attract Zhao Ying. After all, the age gap between them was there. Jean Gang thought that the only thing that could make Zhao Ying moved was when he planned the robbery and Yang Ming saved the damsel in distress. Therefore, Jean Gang thought that Zhao Ying liked a man with a strong sense of justice. Only such a man could bring a sense of security. This was actually not wrong. Which woman didn't like a man who could bring her a sense of security? However, there was a price to pay for bringing a sense of security. Seeing that someone was robbing, Jean Gang felt that his chance had come. This was a heaven-sent opportunity. How could he, who practiced sports, not be able to deal with this little tramp? The man in sunglasses didn't put Jean Gang in his eyes. Although Jean Gang practiced sports, he was too thin. He also had a powdered face. At first glance, he looked like a pretty boy. He belonged to the kind of softy who was easy to bully. Just now, he couldn't provoke the fierce man, Yang Ming, but couldn't he provoke this pretty boy? The sunglasses man was furious. Damn it, Why was it so bad today? He had met so many blind people. Stop right there. King Kong shouted in an awe-inspiring manner. What are you going to do? Zhao Ying saw Jin Gang's posture and quickly asked. Zhao Ying was still a relatively weak girl. She didn't like to cause trouble, which could be seen from several times when she was in danger with Yang Ming. Her original intention was to avoid as much as possible. We still have official business to do. Jin Gang flipped his hair confidently, looking like a hero from the water margin. He said, roar when you see injustice, and take action when it's time to take action. After saying this, Jin Gang thought that Zhao Ying would be so excited that stars would appear in her eyes. Unexpectedly, Zhao Ying frowned. As a teacher, Zhao Ying didn't advocate bravery. She would teach students to quickly call the police when they encountered such a situation, but she didn't recommend them to take the risk. Jin Gang didn't notice the dissatisfaction in Zhao Ying's eyes. When he saw Zhao Ying frown, he thought that she was worried about him, so Jin Gang became even more hot-blooded and rushed toward the sunglasses man. The sunglasses man was obviously not a softie. These days, there was no good in robbing. Especially those like the sunglasses man who ran away after robbing, their stamina was better than the average sports athlete. Seeing Jin Gang coming over, the sunglasses man didn't stop at all. He aimed at Jin Gang's genitals and kicked him directly. Jin Gang didn't notice at first. He wanted to give the sunglasses man a hook, but suddenly, a huge pain came from his lower body. It was so painful that he bent down and couldn't even make a sound. Zhao Ying saw that Jin Gang was beaten, but she couldn't ignore it. Although she didn't like Jin Gang's character, the two of them were colleagues and came out together. So Zhao Ying still quickly dissuaded, okay, don't hit. I'm going to call the police. The sunglasses man obviously showed strong dissatisfaction that someone dared to meddle in other people's business. After Jin Gang squatted on the ground, he still crazily hit Jin Gang's right face with his knee. Little girl, don't fucking meddle in other people's business. If you do, I will beat you up too. The sunglasses man was obviously angry to a certain extent. As he spoke, he began to push Zhao Ying. Yang Ming, you go and pull Miss Zhao away. I have already called the police. Chen Mengyan took out the mobile phone she just bought and dialed the police number. Yang Ming could ignore Jin Gang, but he couldn't ignore Zhao Ying. Jin Gang deserved to be beaten to death, but Zhao Ying. Yang Ming couldn't bear to let her suffer a little injury. Without Chen Mengyan's words, Yang Ming had already walked toward the sunglasses man. Motherfucker, I have already let you go once. You actually pointed at my sister Ying and wanted to beat her. Then I'm sorry, I can only beat you first. Yang Ming grabbed the sunglasses man's hair and lifted him up. Do you want to die? The sunglasses man was enjoying using his knee to hit the ground. Suddenly, he felt his body was light, and his feet were off the ground. Then, there was a pain in his scalp that was about to explode. It was like being torn apart. Let go. The sunglasses man shouted at the top of his lungs. He felt that if he wasn't put down, his scalp would be removed. Yang Ming kicked the sunglasses man's butt, causing him to tumble on the ground. He covered his head and rolled around. Sister Ying, are you okay? Yang Ming asked with concern. No. I'm fine. Jin Gang, he. Zhao Ying asked with concern. Looking at Jin Gang kneeling on the ground, it was quite scary. Yang Ming saw that Zhao Ying was actually concerned about Jin Gang. His heart was sour, and he said coldly, he won't die. He doesn't have the strength, yet he still wants to show off. He is simply an idiot. When Chen Mengyan called the police reception center had already received calls from other people. They told Chen Mengyan that they had already sent someone over. Sure enough, not long after, a police car drove over. Two policemen got out of the car and questioned what had just happened. Yang Ming, Xiao Ying, and Chen Mengyan, as witnesses and parties, were naturally the main targets of questioning. However, Jean Gang was injured. One of the policemen first contacted the ambulance, and then Xiao Ying accompanied Jean Gang to the hospital. Only Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan were left. Yang Ming roughly explained what had just happened. The surrounding people also saw that it was the sunglasses man who robbed, so Yang Ming naturally became a good Samaritan. Whose money is this? A policeman took out a stack of notes from the sunglasses man's pocket. It was about 1,000 yuan. He held it in his hand and asked the crowd. Seeing that no one answered, the policeman frowned. The current situation was that the police hoped that the victim could stand up. But the reality was often not so. Many victims were afraid that the robber would remember their appearance and retaliate. They would rather not have the money than not show up. This is my own money. What do you want to do? The police can just arrest anyone. The sunglasses man saw that no one answered, and he was proud, so he shouted that he was wronged. Yang Ming also frowned and didn't know what to do. At this time, a thin girl in white squeezed out from the crowd and ran to the police. She gasped and said, "It's me. He robbed my money." In the past month, Lin Jiyun had been tutoring junior high school students and earned more than 1,000 yuan. Today was the day her father was discharged from the hospital. She was going to buy a new set of clothes for her father. She didn't expect that when she just withdrew 1,000 yuan from the ATM at the bank entrance, she was robbed by a man wearing sunglasses. Lin Jiyun wanted to chase, but she couldn't catch up. She was a girl. She didn't run as fast as a man, let alone a professional robber. After chasing for a short distance, Lin Jiyun was so tired that she couldn't catch her breath. When she rushed over, she just happened to hear the police questioning, so she quickly separated the crowd and squeezed over. The sunglasses man was a little unwilling. He saw that the girl dared to admit that she was robbed, so he glared at her fiercely. He wanted to scare her and make her shut up. "Motherfucker, what are you doing?" Yang Ming saw that the sunglasses man still dared to wink, so he glared at him. "What are you doing?" The policeman next to him also noticed the sunglasses man's little action and warned, "You better be honest." When Yang Ming saw Lin Jiyun, he was stunned. "Isn't this the familiar girl I met on the bus last time? Hee, she is a victim. Maybe I can even know her name." Lin Jiyun saw that the sunglasses man was actually knocked down by Yang Ming. Then, she couldn't help but sigh slightly. Why do I always meet him? Is it really so difficult to forget the past? When Lin Jiyun noticed Chen Mengyan, who was snuggling up to Yang Ming, she didn't know why, but there was a burst of jealousy in her heart. A girl's mind was so wonderful. Obviously, she didn't want to have anything to do with him in the future, but she didn't want to see him with other girls. "This money is yours." The policeman's words interrupted Lin Jiyun's thoughts. Lin Jiyun nodded quickly. "It's mine. It's a total of 1,000 yuan. Here is the withdrawal receipt." As Lin Jiyun said, she handed the receipt to the policeman who asked the question. Chapter 170. In the police station, the man in sunglasses quickly admitted the fact that he was a robber. Originally, he wanted to say a few harsh words, such as "wait for me to get out. Wait and see." But before he could say anything, Yang Ming spoke first, "You wait for me. After you get out, if I see you again, I will break your legs." Oh my God! The man in sunglasses was shocked. Who is this person? He is actually threatening me. But the man in sunglasses still fell for it. The strong were afraid of the strong. Now, the man in sunglasses had this feeling. It was really difficult to retaliate against someone who could lift him up with one hand. So, the man in sunglasses obediently lowered his head and didn't dare to look at the person in front of him. Originally, Yang Ming wanted to ask for the victim's name, but the police said that the victim asked for confidentiality, so Yang Ming didn't ask anything. Chen Mengyan was still by his side, so Yang Ming couldn't ask further. After finishing the statement, he left with Chen Mengyan first. Are we considered good citizens? Out of the police station, Yang Ming asked with a smile. Hee, it's the second time. Chen Mengyan also smiled, but I don't want you to be so violent in the future. Look at the robber. His scalp was bruised by you. There was a big red patch. It was really scary. Haven't you heard of using violence to curb violence? If I didn't beat him, would he be honest? Yang Ming asked. That's true, but you should use less violence in the future. What if you can't beat him? Chen Mengyan complained. Can't beat him. Hee, your husband was called Crazy Yang. There was no opponent. Yang Ming said proudly. Crazy Yang. That's a bad name. You have this nickname. Chen Mengyan sneered. Is it bad? Yang Ming sighed and shook his head faintly. Suya, have you forgotten me? It's been so long and there's been no news from you. Have you forgotten what you said? What happened? Chen Mengyan sensed the change in Yang Ming's mood and carefully asked, Yang Ming, I heard that you were very good at your studies in junior high. Then, why did you become? Chen Mengyan didn't know how to describe it. She was a little embarrassed to answer his question in front of Yang Ming. Become depraved, right? Yang Ming sighed deeply. Become a bad student, right? That's not what I meant. You know, I never meant to look down on you. Chen Mengyan quickly explained. Hee, of course, I know you don't have any other meaning. Otherwise, how could you become my little wife? Yang Ming laughed. Who is your little wife? Are you going to say it or not? Chen Mengyan was afraid that Yang Ming would say something embarrassing, so she quickly turned the topic back. Do you really want to know? Yang Ming looked at Chen Mengyan. But first, you can't be jealous. Jealous? Why would I be jealous? Tell me quickly. Once a woman's curiosity was aroused, she must get to the root of the problem. Yang Ming raised his head and fell into deep thought. He told the story of himself and Suya to Chen Mengyan. Yes, this matter had been in Yang Ming's heart for too long. It was like a knot in his heart. For so many years, Yang Ming didn't mention it to anyone. He couldn't mention this kind of thing to others. Li Dagong and the others only knew that Yang Ming went out to mingle because of relationship problems, but they didn't know the details. At this time, Yang Ming felt that the whole person was relaxed after talking to Chen Mengyan. What a pure relationship. After Chen Mengyan heard it, she couldn't help but think enviously. Is this the legendary childhood sweetheart? Although she and Yang Ming were also first loves, it was the love between adults. It was completely different from the memories of the young days. You still can't forget her? Chen Mengyan asked with some jealousy. Mengyan, I don't want to lie to you. I don't know if my feeling for Suya is love, but I often think of her. Yang Ming didn't want to lie to Chen Mengyan. There was no need to lie about this kind of thing. He didn't believe that Chen Mengyan would take this matter to heart. Although Chen Mengyan was a little uncomfortable, she wasn't petty enough to be angry with a little girl in Yang Ming's memory. After all, it was a thing of the past. After so many years, even if Yang Ming could see Suya again, it would have been a long time ago. However, Chen Mengyan also secretly made up her mind to make Yang Ming forget Suya. She had confidence in herself. Could it be that the feelings in reality couldn't be compared to the vague thoughts in memory? Oh, don't worry, I won't be angry. In fact, Chen Mengyan really wasn't angry. Yang Ming fell because of a woman, but because of another woman, he picked himself up again. Who was more important and who was less important, people with discerning eyes could see. Therefore, Chen Mengyan was very proud because the woman who made Yang Ming pick himself up again was Chen Mengyan. Of course, what she didn't know was that this was only a small part of the reason. There were many reasons that really made Yang Ming work hard. There was the ardent expectation of his father, Yang Dehai, and Zhao Ying who tirelessly tutored him. Of course, the biggest reason was because of the magical contact lenses. It was because of this pair of contact lenses that made Yang Ming's outlook on life completely different. But that Zhou Jijia, isn't she too hateful? Chen Mengyan felt that if she were in Yang Ming's shoes, she would never do such a thing. Although she and Zhou Jijia were both learning committee members, there was an essential difference. Zhou Jijia, she was just a fuse. My head teacher was the culprit of this matter. Yang Ming was now very open-minded. Let bygones be bygones. Zhou Jijia was still young at that time. She could be treated as a child who didn't know anything. However, Wu Qiren was simply adding oil to the fire and making things worse. Yang Ming hated him the most in his life besides Wang Jitao. Chen Mengyan didn't agree with Wu Qiren's approach, but she couldn't comment on it. After all, it was natural for a teacher to stop a student from dating. There was nothing to criticize. Some things should be stopped at a certain point. Chen Mengyan wasn't stupid enough to ask what Yang Ming would do if Suya appeared again. There was no need to ask. Because of the accident, Chen Mengyan didn't have the desire to continue shopping. Yang Ming was a little depressed because of the matter of Zhao Ying and Jin Gang being together. After calling a taxi and sending Chen Mengyan home, Yang Ming went straight to Lan Ling's residence in Songjiang Industry University. Sometimes, Yang Ming felt that he owed Lan Ling. He never treated Lan Ling as a toy that he bought with money. Instead, he loved her like a little wife. During this period of dating, Yang Ming had always prioritized Chen Mengyan's time. He would only find time to accompany Lan Ling in the remaining time. Although Lan Ling didn't think much of it, Yang Ming felt that he wasn't doing his job well. When Lan Ling saw that Yang Ming came so early, she opened the door for him happily. She jumped onto Yang Ming's body. Okay, stop fooling around. I just caught a robber on the street. Let me rest for a while. Yang Ming patted Lan Ling's back. You stay at home all day and don't go out for a walk. You're almost becoming a homebody. I like to be with you. If you're not here, I'll sleep. Lan Ling acted coquettishly and didn't want to get down. Okay. I'll carry you to the bed. Let's lie down for a while. Yang Ming was really tired. It was like the old saying, men don't mind working, but once they go shopping, they will be exhausted. Yang Ming didn't walk far before he felt tired. Your clothes should be a couple's shirt, right? I've seen it in TV dramas. On the bed, Lan Ling suddenly stared at the red heart t-shirt on Yang Ming and asked. "Ah." Yang Ming was shocked. It can't be, right? How could she tell? However, Yang Ming reacted quickly, it's a set. There's another one. I didn't bring it with me. I'll bring it to you another day. Okay, I haven't worn a couple's shirt yet. Lan Ling nodded happily. Lan Ling was a person who was easily satisfied. She could be happy for half a day over a small matter. Yang Ming complained in his heart. He had to go to the exclusive store again in a while. However, would the staff there think that he had a problem? He was wearing a couple's t-shirt, but he had to buy the same one. Yang Ming wasn't in a good mood today, so he only hugged Lan Ling and didn't do anything else. However, Lan Ling was a bit anxious. What's wrong with today? Why aren't we getting to the point? When can we have sex? I'm going to take a shower. Lan Ling hinted. Yang Ming didn't understand what she meant. Do I smell good? Lan Ling continued to ask. It smells good. Which shower gel did you use? Yang Ming sniffed and asked. Hurry up and take off your clothes. I want to do that. Lan Ling was so angry that she gritted her teeth. I can't even be subtle. Really? Chapter 171. Yang Ming was really tired these 2 days. Yesterday, he played around with his snobbish cousin and then played with Sun Jia in the bathroom. In addition, he went shopping with Qin Mengyan today and was robbed later on. So, after he finished with Lan Ling, he fell into a deep sleep. Yang Ming didn't want to sleep because every time after they were done, Lan Ling would lie on his body and tell him a lot of childhood things. Yang Ming was willing to listen. After all, it was something that happened to his beloved. Moreover, the customs of ethnic minorities made Yang Ming very curious. But men and women were different. When making love, men didn't only get physical and mental enjoyment, but they also needed to pay a lot of physical strength. In contrast, women's physical strength consumption was much less. So after a woman did it with a man, she would always toss and turn, unable to sleep. She carefully analyzed his performance, his attitude, and looked forward to some things in the future. At this time, which should be the happiest time in life, she sadly thought of the past. Lan Ling was such a person. She also knew that Yang Ming would always accompany her to talk. But today, Yang Ming might be too tired. He had just caught a robber, so his body and mind must be very tired. Lan Ling couldn't bear to disturb Yang Ming's rest. She couldn't sleep, so she got up from the bed and was ready to find something to do. Seeing that Yang Ming's clothes were messily thrown on the ground, Lan Ling bent down to pick them up. Suddenly, she found that Yang Ming's pants were stained with blood. It should be the robbers. Since there was nothing to do, Lan Ling was ready to wash Yang Ming's pants. Anyway, there was a modern washing machine here. After washing and drying, she put it on the balcony and it would be dry in a while. Lan Ling took Yang Ming's pants and went to the bathroom. Then, she reached into Yang Ming's pocket and took out the things inside. There was a mobile phone and some change. In addition, there was a shopping receipt. Lan Ling didn't take it seriously. She was about to put it aside when she inadvertently glanced at it. The word couple on the receipt attracted her attention. Average size red heart couple t-shirt, 69 yen. 001 set. The date was written on the t-shirt, and the time was a few hours before Yang Ming came here. Lan Ling was stunned. She stared blankly at the receipt in her hand. He lied to me. He just bought the clothes today. No one would believe that he would deliberately send the clothes home. Why would he lie to me? Lan Ling bit her lips tightly. She looked very confused. All these years, ever since her grandmother disappeared, Yang Ming was the person who treated her the best. Lan Ling also gave all her feelings and heart to Yang Ming. The feeling of being lied to by the person she loved was definitely very uncomfortable. Although Lan Ling looked like a little girl, she was definitely not stupid. Of course, she could vaguely guess what was going on. Lan Ling trembled as she picked up Yang Ming's t-shirt. She gently smelled it. There was a faint fragrance on it. Obviously, it wasn't a new shirt. This fragrance didn't belong to her. It went without saying what it meant. Perhaps men wouldn't notice these details, but women were the most sensitive, especially to the smell that didn't come from her body. Lan Ling held the red heart t-shirt and stared blankly. Did he love her? Lan Ling could say with certainty that yes, he loved her. That kind of loving expression couldn't be faked. Especially when Lan Ling could feel Yang Ming's heart. He definitely loved her. But what was going on now? Could it be that he had other women outside? Lan Ling closed her eyes. She didn't dare to think about it anymore. Perhaps he had other reasons. Perhaps things weren't as I imagined. Lan Ling comforted herself. Lan Ling couldn't imagine what life would be like without Yang Ming. Although Lan Ling didn't feel that life was hard before she met Yang Ming, it was very scary for a person who had experienced happiness to return to that kind of life. Lan Ling sighed and decided to bury this matter in her heart. At least, now wasn't a good time to talk about this kind of thing. She still wasn't sure if Yang Ming had any improper behavior. After all, the voodoo was like a sharp sword hanging over Yang Ming's head. He still didn't know the specific meaning of the voodoo. Lan Ling stuffed the things in Yang Ming's pants pocket back one by one. The shopping receipt was also put back in its original position. After doing all this, Lan Ling took the clothes back to the bedroom and put them on the bedside table. Then, Lan Ling pretended as if nothing had happened and climbed onto the bed. She lay beside Yang Ming. Her left hand gently rested on Yang Ming's chest. She shrank into Yang Ming's embrace and enjoyed this moment of tenderness. Yang Ming woke up and found that it was already 2:00 in the afternoon. Looking at Lan Ling, who was sleeping soundly beside him, Yang Ming's mouth revealed a slight smile. Then, he gently kissed her cheek and slowly moved Lan Ling's arm away from him. Sitting up, Yang Ming put on his clothes. Perhaps it was because of his guilt towards Lan Ling, Yang Ming went downstairs to the market to buy some ingredients. He was going to personally cook for Lan Ling. Yang Ming wasn't born as a young master. He learned how to cook since he was young, so his cooking skills were passable. A dish of pork ribs, potatoes, and beans, and a dish of barbecued tofu. They were cooked quite well. In fact, Lan Ling didn't sleep at all. How could a girl fall asleep when encountering such a thing? Seeing that Yang Ming woke up, Lan Ling quickly closed her eyes. When Yang Ming kissed her, Lan Ling's depressed mood was instantly filled with sweetness. However, when she saw that Yang Ming left without a word, she couldn't help but feel disappointed. Before Lan Ling could recover from her sadness, she heard the sound of the door opening. Yang Ming was back again. When the bustling sounds of the kitchen rang out, Lan Ling's little bit of suspicion instantly melted away. Why think so much? As long as he is good to me, isn't it fine? There is a good saying, I know everything, but I don't say it. Lan Ling was in such a state of mind now. She knew that once she revealed the doubt in her heart, it would be unknown if her relationship with Yang Ming could be as harmonious as it was now. She didn't want to lose everything she had now, so pretending to be confused was the best solution. Although Lan Ling didn't want to be like this, she still wasn't sure if Yang Ming really gave her all his love. After all, the combination of the two was too coincidental and too costly. If Yang Ming didn't take her seriously, Lan Ling couldn't do anything about it. The only thing that could bind Yang Ming now was the voodoo. Of course, this was only what Lan Ling thought. Even if there wasn't that bullshit voodoo, Yang Ming would still cherish Lan Ling. After Yang Ming finished cooking, he tiptoed to Lan Ling's side. Lan Ling quickly closed her eyes and pretended to be asleep. However, because it was too rushed, her eyelashes still moved. Yang Ming's eyes were good to begin with, so of course, he saw these small details, so he pretended not to know and said to himself, She's not awake yet. Lan Ling closed her eyes and didn't move, ignoring Yang Ming's words. Oh, so my little baby is asleep. Then she won't know what I do. Yang Ming walked around Lan Ling, then suddenly put his face in front of Lan Ling's little face. Lan Ling squinted her eyes to observe Yang Ming's movements. Suddenly, she saw a big face in front of her. She was shocked, but when she saw Yang Ming's weird expression, she couldn't help but laugh. Ha ha ha, stop fooling around, I'll wake up, eh? What a pity, I wanted to play the game of touching face. Yang Ming pretended to be sorry and said. Bad Yang Ming. You knew I was awake, but you still played tricks on me. Lan Ling complained with a red face. No, I cooked for you and came to wake you up. You pretended to be asleep and lied to me. Yang Ming looked like he was wronged. Okay, I was wrong, okay. You're so good to me. Lan Ling smelled the aroma of the food, and her saliva almost flowed out. During this period of time, Lan Ling was alone at home, so she had to make do with her meals. If she cooked, she couldn't finish it. If she ate outside, Lan Ling felt that it was too expensive. She was a thrifty person. Therefore, she made some instant noodles and pickles every day. It was so pitiful. Yang Ming noticed this, so he decided to improve Lan Ling's diet. Lan Ling didn't eat at noon, so her stomach was growling. She didn't even put on her clothes and ran to the kitchen, looking like she was ready to eat. Chapter 172. Nonsense, I spent 50 yuan to buy a pure leather condom. How can it not be good? Zhang Bin curled his lips. There wasn't any special request, but we can't afford an imported car. My dad set a standard of around 100,000 yuan for me. Zhang Bin said. I looked at a few cars. Zhonghua Junjia and Fa Pentium are not bad. Yang Ming didn't want his parents to worry. Since it was over, it was better not to mention it. Zhang Bin's reaction was faster. He immediately changed his words. Yang Ming met me. Then I dragged him to Car City to look at cars. Yeah, I think she's quite good. So I plan to increase my efforts after school starts and get her in one fell swoop. Zhang Bin said. It's fine as long as you think she's good. Oh yeah, aren't you planning to buy a car? When? Yang Ming picked up the car flyer and flipped through it. You went to Car City today. Her figure is very good. But the most important thing is that she has the charm of a mature woman. That black stocking is really seductive. How about it? Can you introduce it to me? Zhang Bin said lecherously. Aren't you afraid that you'll be exposed if you're naked? Lan Ling looked at the food and drooled. Yang Ming looked at Lan Ling's body and drooled. Zhang Bin is here. Mother Yang warmly welcomed Zhang Bin in. Big Ming, didn't you go shopping with Qin Mengyan? Why did you come back with Zhang Bin? Zhang Bin complained that he had become Yang Ming's full-time driver. But even though he complained, he still told Yang Ming. After half an hour, they met at the entrance of Songjiang Industry University's family area. She's a university teacher. Why? Are you interested? Yang Ming opened the door of the front passenger seat and got in the car. Disgusting. Lan Ling made a vomiting gesture. Indeed, it was a little dangerous to eat so much. I just bought it, so I want to buy another set now. Yang Ming said. Going to the business district? What are you going to do there? Zhang Bin asked. You're ruthless, you're ruthless. Zhang Bin gave him a thumbs up. The car stopped at the entrance of the store. Yang Ming entered the store, pointed at the clothes he was wearing, and asked the salesperson to give him a bill and buy an identical set. The salesperson was baffled. Why did this guy come to buy another set? He couldn't help but ask, Sir, didn't you just buy a set? When the time comes, you can teach me how to mix the juices. I'll learn too, Lan Ling said. If you're not afraid of food coming out of your mouth, then let's go. Yang Ming rolled his eyes at her. Well, I won't bother you. You can go now. Yang Ming saw Zhang Bin's Chrysler coming from afar, so he said to Xiao Qing. Yang Ming hung up the phone and said goodbye to Lan Ling. Then, he went downstairs. Just as he reached the entrance of the neighborhood, a woman walked towards him. It was someone he knew. Oh, so that's the case. What about Chen Mengyan? Big Ming, you wouldn't leave her alone on the street, right? Mother Yang asked worriedly. It was very impolite to do so. Mother Yang squinted her eyes and looked at the t-shirt on Yang Ming. Her mouth was full of smiles. Obviously, she knew what it meant to have two identical sets of clothes. It seemed that her son had gotten Chen Mengyan. Yang Ming, why are you here? Xiao Qing was stunned when she saw Yang Ming. She didn't expect to meet him here. I prefer this style. My girlfriend also likes it, so I bought an extra set to wear. Yang Ming made up an explanation. And, isn't the Fa Pentium a little more expensive? Yang Ming looked at the flyer and asked, but this car is quite stylish. I like this. Damn, consider that I didn't say anything. Zhang Bin complained, hurry up and get in the car. Hey, did you really decide to marry Zhao Cixi? Yang Ming felt that Zhang Bin's decision was too hasty. Right, send me to the commercial street next to Songjiang No. 4 High School. Yang Ming suddenly thought of a very important thing. Buy a set of couples outfits, just like this. Yang Ming pointed to himself. Oh, it's quite exquisite. Yang Ming took it and found that the outside of the wallet felt good. And, after I got my driver's license in the morning, I went straight to Car City. I saw a few outfits. Can you give me some advice? Zhang Bin took out a small black book from his pocket and threw it to Yang Ming. Your driver's license. Is it delicious? In fact, it's very simple. Just put some oil on the tofu, and then use the sauce to make it. Yang Ming said, when I was a child, I often bought a piece of tofu at home and ate it like this. It's simple and convenient. Who was that just now? You're so hot. Zhang Bin stuck his head out of the window and said lasciviously. In Yang Ming's view, the children of the rich disdained to associate with poor people like them. But on Zhang Bin, there was no bad habit. Not to mention that Zhang Bing's family wasn't rich enough. Yang Ming saw many families who started small businesses and earned a few million yuan. They were already very awesome. Xiao Qing nodded. She and Yang Ming were strangers who met by chance. When they met, they just exchanged greetings and said goodbye to each other. A friend. Yang Ming looked back at the direction where Xiao Qing left. I'm saying, why didn't you buy 2 sets at once? You're tormenting me. Zhang Bin pretended to be angry. Lan Ling ate a lot. Her small belly was round. She was so full that she couldn't walk. She swayed back and forth in the house like a crab. After strolling for a while, she felt that the digestion wasn't satisfying enough, so she said to Yang Ming, let's play on the bed for a while. Ha, don't mention it. Yang Ming encountered. Zhang Bin just wanted to say that Yang Ming encountered a robbery, but he was interrupted by Yang Ming's eyes. Yang Ming sweated. Is there anyone like you? Uncle Zhang is unlucky enough. Ha, I said that even if it was given for free, it can't be so exquisite. Yang Ming smiled. Right, do you want to buy domestic or imported? I came to see my father. He also lives here. Xiao Qing smiled. University teacher. A good woman. Zhang Bin shook his head. Forget it. I don't want to get into trouble. If it's a slut, it's okay to play around. If it's a serious matter, I have decided to be with Zhao Cixi. Lan Ling was afraid of indigestion, so she found something to do. Not only did she wash the dishes, but she also took the initiative to wipe the floor. Yang Ming stayed for a while. Seeing that it was almost time, he called Zhang Bin and asked him to pick him up and send his driver's license. You think I don't want to? This set was bought with Chen Mengyan, but Lan Ling also saw it. I can only say that I bought it for her. So, I have to buy another set. Yang Ming explained helplessly. Yeah, it's more than 30,000 yuan more expensive than Zhonghua Junjie's automatic transmission. I also like this car, but my dad wants me to buy Junjie. Zhang Bin said. Yang Ming filled 2 bowls of rice and placed them in front of the two. Then, he said to Lan Ling, well, eat quickly. Try my cooking. I haven't cooked for a few years. Why? Yang Ming was a bit amused. Are you driving, not your dad? I have a friend who lives here. What about you? Yang Ming said. Well, when you bring Zhao Sisi, I will also call my friend. Let's go for a ride together. Yang Ming said straightforwardly. Is that so? The salesperson opened the bill and thought about it. Should I reflect to the manager to buy more of this style of clothes? Why is it so popular? Big. Sister Xiaoqing. Yang Ming almost called her auntie, but he quickly changed it. I will go back in the evening and discuss with my dad. I will buy the FAW Pentium. Zhang Bin said, why is he so unlucky? I am his son. How can I be treated the same as his little wife? Fuck. Hey, his little wife has taken a fancy to the red Junjie. He thought that it would be cheaper to buy 2 at a time. Zhang Bin shook his head. I threatened him. If he didn't buy me a Pentium, I would tell my mom about him. After shopping, Zhang Bin sent Yang Ming home. Then, he went upstairs with Yang Ming. Chapter 173. At night, Zhang Bin went home and discussed with Zhang Jifang what car to buy. Zhang Jifang insisted on buying Zhang Bin and Junjie. In the end, Zhang Bin said, you just want to buy 2 for a cheaper price. Mother Zhang heard and asked curiously, buy 2? Why buy 2? Zhang Jifang was sweating. He quickly said, why buy 2? Isn't one enough for you? Then buy a Pentium. Therefore, Zhang Bin easily received 150,000 yuan for the car. The next day, Zhang Bin told this to Yang Ming. Yang Ming laughed until his stomach hurt. Zhang Bin, you really dared to say that. You keep using this trick with him. Aren't you afraid that he will kill you? Sure, if he doesn't want someone to inherit his family business, then he can kill me. Zhang Bin said indifferently. Driving a Chrysler to buy a Pentium was quite spectacular. But in this day and age, there were many people who drove a good car to buy a cheap car. Some bought it for mistresses, some bought it for their children. Others brought their friends to buy it. For people like Yang Ming and Zhang Bin who were around the same age, they were naturally seen as accompanying their friends to buy a car. Seeing Zhang Bin's car, the sales lady naturally thought that Yang Ming wanted to buy a car. She pulled Yang Ming and introduced him. Yang Ming didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He pointed at Zhang Bin and said, he wants to buy a car, aw. The sales lady was stunned, but she immediately said, sir, you are also a potential customer, so it's not wrong to introduce him to you. Hee hee, little girl, you are quite good with words. Zhang Bin acted up again and started to tease the sales lady. Hee hee, what do you mean by good with words? We have always been serving you warmly. The sales lady was obviously experienced. She defused Zhang Bin's teasing without leaving a trace. I want to buy a Pentium. What price can you give me? Zhang Bin saw that this little girl was not easy to fool, so he went straight to the point. Anyway, he had already decided to buy this car, so there was no point in saying more. Which configuration do you fancy? When the sales lady heard Zhang Bin's words, she knew that this was a customer who had come to pick up the goods with money, so she did not say anything else. This kind of customer was what they wanted to see the most. They would pick up the car after negotiating the price without hesitation. Zhang Bin pointed at the flyer in his hand and said, the 2.0 automatic luxury model. The manufacturer's guide price is 165,800 yuan. Compared to the comfort model, it has traction control on leather seats. The sales lady introduced. Stop. I've already done my research. I can see the manufacturer's price online. What I'm asking is the lowest price you can give me. Zhang Bin waved his hand impatiently. Hee. The sales lady smiled and said, we can give you 155,000 yuan for this car. We will give you a complimentary film, seat cover, steering wheel cover, and free anti-theft installation. Zhang Bin shook his head repeatedly. He had bought it within 150,000 yuan. This extra 5,000 yuan was obviously not enough. The sales lady saw Zhang Bin shaking his head, so she asked, why, sir? Do you still think it is expensive? Actually, this price is not expensive. No, I don't have that much budget. Why don't we look at other cars? Zhang Bin pretended to think it was expensive and turned back to Yang Ming. Then, sir, how much do you want to buy it? Of course, the sales lady would not let Zhang Bin leave. Your price definitely won't work. We have asked online and in the group. Others bought this model, but it was much lower than yours. Yang Ming looked at the sales lady regretfully. How about this? I will give you a discount to the end. What do you think? The sales lady hesitated and said, 150,000 yuan is the lowest price. If you can pick up the car, I will give you this price, 150,000 yuan. Hee, little girl, you don't know how to fool us. Yang Ming smiled and said, how about this? I will also give you a price. If you think it is okay, then sell it. If not, then forget it. How much? Asked the sales lady. 140,000 yuan. Yang Ming said. Ah. The sales lady was stunned. I have never done this price before. I am afraid it is impossible. You go and ask. If it is okay, we will immediately pay the money and pick up the car. If it is not okay, then we will talk about it. Yang Ming didn't like to waste time when bargaining. He was often decisive. That is fine. Please wait for a moment. I will ask our manager. The sales lady nodded and then ran to the manager's room inside. Damn, how can you bargain like this? You directly cut 10,000 yuan. Zhang Bin shook his head. Didn't you see the price on the internet? It should be around this price. Yang Ming said. After a while, the sales lady ran back. She whispered to Yang Ming and Zhang Bin, our manager said that the lowest price is 140,000 yuan. He won't give anything else. He will only install an anti-theft system. Yang Ming and Zhang Bin looked at each other. The lowest price that they asked in the group was around this price. It was impossible to go any lower. You can't expect the dealer to lose money, right? Alright, let's look at the car first. Then we will do the procedures. Zhang Bin nodded as he agreed. In fact, there wasn't much to pick about the new car. Zhang Bin and Yang Ming mainly checked the common ailments mentioned on the internet. After there were no problems, they listened to the sound of the engine. After that, Zhang Bin went to test the car. The car felt good. It belonged to the self-branded car that had a breakthrough after the red flag. After paying the money and writing the invoice, they drove away. Yang Ming drove the Chrysler while Zhang Bin drove the Pentium. They went to Zhang Jifang's company together. As for the procedures, it was handed over to Zhang Jifang's driver. It was just a matter of running errands. There was still no news about the missing imperial jade. Zhang Jifang directly transferred 200,000 yuan to Yang Ming as compensation. Even though Yang Ming repeatedly declined, Zhang Jifang was an elder. He didn't want to take advantage of the younger generation. Moreover, Zhang Jifang didn't care about this little amount of money. Yang Ming couldn't do anything. Zhang Jifang was an elder. Since he said so, if he continued to refuse, it would mean that he was looking down on him. Therefore, he could only agree. As a result, Yang Ming's bank account increased to 460,000 yuan. This wasn't a small amount. Yang Ming, do you want to buy a car too? Zhang Bin looked at the bank card in Yang Ming's hand and said enviously, you are richer than me now. Buying a BMW isn't a problem. Let's wait and see. At least I can't buy one now. Yang Ming shook his head. Damn, what are you waiting for? You buy one and we can take turns driving. Zhang Bin suggested. Do you think I don't want to buy one? But under what name? What if my parents ask about it? My money is too mysterious. Although jade gambling is a legitimate business, it is still considered gambling. I don't want my parents to worry about it. Yang Ming said, now I am working for your family. Is it possible for a worker to drive a better car than the boss? You are right. Different professions are worlds apart. Jade gambling isn't easy to understand in the eyes of ordinary people. Zhang Bin nodded after listening. When are you going to buy one? Soon. After I go to university, I am going to start my own business. With my own business, it will be easier to buy a car. Yang Ming said, my family's condition is there. Buying a car out of the blue isn't a big deal. At least I have to buy a house for my parents. Fuck, little brat. Zhang Jifang slapped Zhang Bin's head and scolded, look at how filial Yang Ming is. You only know how to ask your father to give you money to spend. You never buy anything for me. You should have a son like Yang Ming. Not only does he know how to earn money, but he also found a beautiful daughter-in-law. Stop, stop, stop. I also found a daughter-in-law for you. It is almost done. Zhang Bin quickly waved his hand. Is it true? Zhang Jifang was stunned and said happily, you are always right. Could it be one of your stupid netizens? Of course not. We were high school classmates. We were in the same class. She also got into Songjiang Industry University. Zhang Bin was afraid that his father wouldn't believe him, so he added, if you don't believe me, you can ask Yang Ming. Yang Ming, is that true? Don't lie to uncle. Zhang Jifang didn't believe him. And, that's right. She was my high school classmate and my girlfriend's good friend. Her name is Xiao Sisi. She is a good person. Yang Ming said with a smile. Oh. He, that's great. Zhang Bin, when are you going to bring her home for me and your mother to meet? Zhang Jifang said eagerly. Dad, she hasn't agreed yet. Why are you so anxious? Zhang Bin smiled bitterly. How can I not be anxious? There are 3 ways to be unfilial. The worst is to have no children. If you give me a grandson, I won't care about you anymore. Zhang Jifang said anxiously. Dad, I just started university. Zhang Bin said helplessly, your request will have to wait for a few years. Don't worry, don't worry. Zhang Jifang realized that his words were too far-fetched, so he smiled and said, son, let me tell you. A wife doesn't have to be beautiful. The key is that she has to have a good personality, be virtuous, and be able to take care of the family. Chapter 174. When the four of them came out from the last place with a towel and a wash basin, it was already noon. They ran for 3 hours before they settled the admission procedures. Yang Ming watched the foreign movies behind the MP4 for a while. He felt that it was boring, so he closed his eyes and fell asleep. This way, it's better, Yang Ming said, then let's pick up Zhao Cece. Zhang Bin will definitely be happy to do this. After putting away the things, Yang Ming and Zhang Bin locked the door. The room on the right wasn't occupied yet, so they didn't care. When Yang Ming saw the guy in the right room at night, he almost fainted. The advantage of this type of dormitory was that there was no power outage at night. There was power supply 24 hours a day. They didn't have to worry about power outages during the day like other students. Yang Ming could only smile bitterly. He wasn't a kid anymore. How could he not handle this kind of thing? The parking lot in front of Songjiang Industry University was filled with cars that sent the new students to school. Yang Ming couldn't help but sigh. Parents nowadays. What are you doing? The four-eyed guy who spoke first was obviously unhappy. Do you understand the principle of first come, first served? Student, do you need help? A four-eyed guy approached Chen Mengyan. Yang Ming and his family went to bed early because they had to report tomorrow. Yang Ming didn't feel sleepy at all. He was lying on the bed and wanted to play with his phone on the bedside table. Suddenly, he noticed an MP4 on the bedside table. What if you bring home a broken shoe and make a cuckold of yourself? That's the end. Zhang Jifang said, a wife is for you to take care of the house and give birth to children. It's easy to get a pretty one. You can get anything with money. Yang Ming didn't understand, but the country's education system was like this. He couldn't change anything. After they got off the car, Yang Ming and the other three went to the school's registration reception. Among the four of them, Yang Ming majored in computer science and technology, Chen Mengyan and Zhang Bin majored in international finance, and Zhao Cece majored in advertising design and media. They belonged to 3 different schools, but the registration office was the same. The four of them handed in their admission letters and ID cards. After they registered separately, they were told to go to the finance office to pay the money. Tomorrow was the day to report to the university. Yang Ming couldn't stay here any longer. He had to go home and pack his things. That's fine. I'll call Zhao Cece later and tell her. Chen Mengyan laughed. Of course, she knew that Zhang Bin was pursuing Zhao Cece. When choosing their dormitory, Yang Ming and Zhang Bin chose a 3-person luxury suite. It was the kind of dormitory that had 3 bedrooms, 1 living room, and a private bathroom. This kind of dormitory was found in every dormitory building. There were only a few of them on each floor, and they were considered high-priced dormitories. Most of them were for the children of wealthy families. Yang Ming was considered a little rich now, so he could still afford to stay in this dormitory. In the afternoon, Yang Ming took a taxi to deliver the couple's t-shirt to Lanling. Zhang Jifang needed the car, so Zhang Bin couldn't send Yang Ming. The next morning, after Yang Ming had packed up, he waited for Zhang Bin at home. He would report at 9 a.m. Zhang Bin arrived at Yang Ming's house at 8 a.m. Then, both of them went to pick up Chen Mengyan. Under Chen Mengyan's guidance, they drove to Zhao Cece's house. Originally, Yang's father and mother Yang wanted to ask for leave to accompany Yang Ming. After all, their son's university enrollment was a very important matter. However, Yang Ming had already made plans with his classmates. Therefore, they could only remind Yang Ming to follow the rules when he arrived at the university. Don't mess up the order. Yang Ming got down from the front passenger seat and sat in the back with Chen Mengyan. After a while, Zhao Sisi walked out from the entrance of the neighborhood. Zhang Bin got down from the car like a gentleman and opened the front passenger seat door. After Zhao Sisi sat down, he closed the door for her. Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan found it funny. You hit me. You're good, but you're useless. You just wait and see. Four-eyed Frog covered his face in anger. Dad, don't ask this question in front of Zhao Sisi. Zhang Bin quickly reminded him. Yang Ming couldn't help but miss the feeling of that day. However, Yang Ming's intuition told him that this woman wasn't easy to handle. She wasn't someone to be trifled with. Therefore, Yang Ming didn't plan to take the initiative to contact her. So what if I'm talking about you? What are you looking at? Are you pretending with me? Four-eyed Frog obviously wasn't as gentle as he looked on the surface. He pointed at the nose of the boy in the sportswear and said, "What do you want?" After hanging up the phone, Yang Ming told Zhang Bin about picking up Zhao Sisi. Sure enough, this kid was overjoyed. Ha! It was actually Sun Jie's MP4. I forgot to return it to Sun Jie when I brought it back. However, it seemed that the woman was very rich. She didn't care about this MP4, right? Yang Ming had already pulled Chen Mengyan aside at this time. He felt very funny watching the two idiots fighting over Chen Mengyan. The luxury suite wasn't allocated according to specialization, but it was the kind that could be mixed up. Therefore, Zhang Bin and Yang Ming asked for 2 rooms in a dormitory. The 4 of them agreed to meet at the school gate after sending their respective luggage back to the dormitory. They would go out to eat together. Holding the towel and basin given by the school, Yang Ming couldn't help but shake his head. The quality of this free stuff didn't seem to be good. This basin was so thin. It couldn't leak after 2.5 days, right? Zhao Sisi had just boarded the bus. Initially, she was still a little restrained. However, after a few words with Chen Mengyan, she became familiar with everyone. The 4 of them discussed the new school together. After all, university life was very novel for freshmen like them who had just entered the school. I will definitely not say it in the future. Zhang Bin patted his chest and promised. That's more like it. Zhang Jifang nodded. Since you have a girlfriend, you can't be shabby. I will ask the driver to decorate your car better later. When will the university be able to introduce such a humanized one-stop service? These things could be done in one place. Why do they have to be separated into so many places? The environment of the suite wasn't bad. Moreover, they were all rooms facing the front. Zhang Bin and Yang Ming chose to stay in the 2 rooms on the left that were adjacent to each other. Although the room was only 6 to 7 square meters, it was very clean. There was a single bed, a desk, and a small wardrobe. Lan Ling took the t-shirt and didn't say anything. Instead, she wore it happily. She lingered with Yang Ming for a while before letting him go. But the voodoo didn't seem to be abnormal. Could it be that I wore a condom? The voodoo didn't take effect. It was probably because of this, right? Yang Ming comforted himself. There was a reason why Yang Ming chose a dormitory for himself. He wanted to start earning money while he was still in university. If there were too many people in the dormitory, it would definitely affect him. But if women were to be intimate with each other, it would be more acceptable. Yang Ming didn't think much of it. But if 2 men were to be intimate, it was a little disgusting. Thinking of Sun Jie, Yang Ming's mouth showed a slight smile. What a fiery woman. Especially the 2 majestic peaks on her chest. It was a pity that Sun Jie didn't take off her top that day. He couldn't see the charm inside. Fuck, are you stupid? The sports shirt guy obviously didn't take him seriously. He turned around and left. In fact, there wasn't much to pack. The first day was mainly to pay the money and assign the dormitory. After Yang Ming put the admission notice and ID card on his body, he called Zhang Bin and Chen Mengyan separately. They agreed to report together tomorrow. Yang Ming picked up the MP4 and played with it. Yang Ming was a little confused about Sun Jie's hobby of watching lesbian movies. Women watching women. Yang Ming shook his head. If he were to watch men, he would probably vomit. Student, are you going to pay the money? Why don't I take you there? Another guy in a sweatshirt came over. Fuck, do you think your dad is retarded? Zhang Jifang said angrily, do you think I'm like you? Every word you say makes my heart jump. Zhang Bin just bought a new car, so he volunteered to be the driver. When Yang Ming called Chen Mengyan was in a dilemma. I already made an appointment with Zhao Cece tomorrow. It's not good to miss the appointment, right? The four of them came to the school's finance department. After they paid the money, they got the receipt. Then, the finance department teacher asked them to register at the student office and assign the dormitory. You motherfucker, what are you saying? The sports shirt guy saw that the four-eyed guy in front of him dared to talk nonsense, so he was immediately angry. He was the vice president of the school's taekwondo club. How dare someone show off in front of him? You idiot! The sports shirt guy punched the four-eyed guy's face, and his glasses flew away. Chapter 175. Wang Jitao wanted to show off his ability in front of Zhou Jiejie, so he started to boast, why did we go to university? Isn't it to have a good job in the future? Zhang Bin is good enough to follow his father's footsteps. Actually, I am the same. When the time comes, my dad will let me be the general manager of Xiongfeng Group. You can all come to my place. I will definitely take care of my old classmates. After hearing Wang Jitao's words, Zhou Jiejie suddenly remembered that the person who was pestering her online a few days ago seemed to be the young master of the Xiongfeng Group's chairman. He was also a student of Songjiang Industry University. Could he be the person behind her? Chen Mengyan just noticed that Wang Jitao was there too. She looked up at Yang Ming as if she was asking why he was here. Yang Ming and Zhang Bin were at the school gate, so they naturally had to wait for a while. Yang Ming definitely couldn't say that he knew Zhou Jiejie, so he pretended that he didn't know and sat over there. Wang Jitao's words attracted the attention of many students in the cafeteria. After all, Xiongfeng Group was quite famous in Songjiang City. Many people had heard of it before. The girl beside Zhou Jiejie couldn't help but turn around and look at Wang Jitao. Waiting for someone. Oh, I know. You must be waiting for Zhao Cece, right? Yang Ming is waiting for Chen Mengyan. Wang Jitao asked with a smile. He had basically given up on Chen Mengyan. Chen Mengyan was different from other girls. Her father, Wang Jitao, knew that he couldn't afford to offend her. Moreover, he had a new target now. It was the girl he met on QQ. I heard that she got into Songjiang Industry University. Doesn't that mean that my chance is here? Yang Ming shook his head helplessly. Zhang Bin and I were waiting for you guys here. Then, we met class monitor Wang. He said that he actually didn't need to go to university. He only went to university to gain experience so that he could take over his father's work. Even if he graduated from primary school, he could still manage those master's and doctoral students. Zhang Bin did not recognize it, but Wang Jitao recognized Charming Baby. This person was Zhou Jiejie, whom he had been chasing after recently. But at the moment, Zhou Jiejie was with another girl. Wang Jitao couldn't get in. Besides, Yang Ming and the others were here. Arriving at the booth in the hall, Yang Ming suddenly saw a familiar figure. Why is this little slut here? Yang Ming frowned. He glanced in the direction of that person, and that person happened to look up as well. Their gazes met, and Yang Ming quickly left, no longer looking in that direction. His reputation must not be tarnished by this little slut. Yang Ming quickly pretended not to know her and never looked at her again. Zhang Bin, on the other hand, didn't remember that the person in front of him was the charming baby in the video. We are going to eat. Class monitor Wang, if you have something to do, go ahead first. Zhang Bin didn't want to be with people like Wang Jitao. Chen Mengyan really didn't want to eat at the same table with Wang Jitao, but she couldn't directly refuse. Zhao Sisi, on the other hand, felt that 2 men and 2 women eating together was a bit awkward. It was like 2 couples. After all, she hadn't been with Zhang Bin yet. Now with Wang Jitao, it didn't seem awkward. She didn't understand the contradiction between Wang Jitao, Chen Mengyan, and Yang Ming, so she readily agreed, okay, it will be more lively with more people. But Wang Jitao definitely didn't want to miss such a good opportunity to attract Zhou Jiejia's attention. So, without waiting for Yang Ming and the others to speak, he went to the table behind Zhou Jiejia, pointed there and said, let's sit here. Yes, class monitor Wang, are you going out? Yang Ming saw that Wang Jitao had already said so he didn't want to disrespect him too much, so he responded. At that time, Wang Jitao also gave his photo to Zhou Jiejia, but Zhou Jiejia didn't even look at it and just dragged it into the recycle bin. Could this guy be Yang Ming's buddy? And it seems like it. Zhou Jiejia secretly remembered it in her heart. She planned to ask this person when she had the chance. She had no choice but to take Wang Jitao, and the 5 of them went out of the university gate. There were many small restaurants near the university, but there weren't many decent ones. Because the students themselves were a low-end consumer group, it was impossible to spend a few hundred yuan to eat in a big restaurant. Those home-cooked restaurants and small fast food restaurants became the favorite of the students. Wang Jitao stuck his head out from the window of a brand-new Honda Accord. Yang Ming, Zhang Bin, what are you doing? In fact, Wang Jitao usually didn't lose his self-control, but today, the person behind him was Zhou Jiejia, so he tried to raise his value. In his opinion, which girl didn't love money? It wasn't that those who thought they were virtuous didn't love it, but it hadn't reached the point where they were tempted. Motherfucker, what do you mean? Yang Ming naturally didn't know about the matter between Wang Jitao and Zhou Jiejia. He thought that Wang Jitao accidentally chose the table there. Yang Ming was angry in his heart. You can even trick me unintentionally. Isn't this too much of a coincidence? No, I have to get rid of you as soon as possible. Yang Ming said in his heart, aren't you fucking talking nonsense? What kind of engine is a Mercedes-Benz? The price is there. Ah. Chen Mengyan hated Wang Jitao since the last photo incident. Now that she saw him calling Yang Ming a brother, she was a little unhappy. She felt that this person was too hypocritical. Although most of them were low class, there were a few that were slightly more classy. After all, some students were rich, or they would come to these slightly more classy restaurants when it was their birthday. Yang Ming saw Wang Jitao say so and was helpless. What he said was the truth. You can't say that we are eating and don't want to bring you, right? Moreover, Chen Mengyan and Zhao Sisi had already walked over. That person, on the other hand, let out a faint sigh. This person was Yang Ming's junior high school classmate, the girl who complained behind his back, Zhou Jiejia. Yang Ming just watched her passionate video a few days ago. Although Zhou Jiejia also turned her head, the direction she looked at was Yang Ming. She pretended to turn her head inadvertently and pretended to look at Yang Ming inadvertently. Then she quickly turned her head back. Dee, a clear sound of a horn sounded beside Zhang Bin and Yang Ming. Waiting for someone. Zhang Bin said casually. At this point, Chen Mengyan and Yang Ming could only acquiesce. Zhang Bin also looked helpless. He couldn't refute Zhao Cici's proposal. This car doesn't have the power of a Mercedes-Benz. Wang Jitao sighed hypocritically. Yang Ming wanted to stop it, but it was too late. He didn't want Wang Jitao to get involved. Who knows, this guy might want to join in the fun later. Wang Jitao didn't wait for Yang Ming's reply. He parked the car in the empty space and got off. He purposely waited for Chen Mengyan and Zhao Cici to come closer before pressing the remote control lock. Unfortunately, the scene just now was in vain. Chen Mengyan and Zhao Cici didn't even turn their heads. They didn't even notice Wang Jitao's Honda Accord. The Honda Accord made two clear doo-doo sounds as the car was locked. Wang Jitao elegantly pulled the door again. After confirming that it was locked, he walked towards Yang Ming and the others. Motherfucker, Yang Ming felt that his face was burning. This bastard Zhang Bin, how could he pretend to be me in chat online? Now it's great. Zhou Jiejia will definitely laugh at me for being a stuffy but passionate man. The waiter brought the menu over. The three men politely let the girls order. Chen Mengyan and Zhao Cici ordered a few home-cooked dishes. Wang Jitao and Yang Ming ordered 3 bottles of beer. Since they didn't have to drive in the afternoon, it was fine to drink a little. Hee, it's fine. I just finished my registration and nothing much happened. I came out to see if I could meet someone familiar. Ha, I met you guys. Where are you going? Wang Jitao asked with a smile. His expression was like that of a best friend. Wang Jitao chose a restaurant that looked good and brought the 4 of them in. After all, they were friends. Chapter 176. Just as Wang Jitao was bragging, 2 guys walked in. It was normal to have guests, but one of the guys was the tracksuit guy who flirted with Chen Mengyan today. Hence, Yang Ming paid attention to them. After the 2 boys looked around the room, they sat near Yang Ming and the others. Brother Dong, the 2 tables beside us are all freshmen, right? The guy who came with the tracksuit guy said. And they should be. If not, we would have seen such pretty girls before. The tracksuit guy called Brother Dong said. Brother Dong's full name was Lu Xiaodong. He was the vice president of Songjiang Industry University's Taekwondo Club. The guy who came with him was also a member of the Taekwondo Club. His name was Li Jiaxing. Both of them were perverted wolves. They didn't have a girlfriend until now. However, there were only a few pretty girls in the 2nd and 3rd year. Moreover, they were already taken. Moreover, the 2 of them couldn't afford to offend these guys. Hence, they naturally set their sights on the freshmen. Brother Dong, how about we go over and flirt with them? Li Jiaxing suggested. Sure, let's go to the 2 girls' table. There are 3 guys at the other table. Let's not provoke them. Although Lu Xiaodong was good at fighting, there were 3 guys at the other table. Why should he give up the easy way? Li Jiaxing had the same idea. Both of them had the same idea. Hence, they started to come up with a plan to flirt with them. Although the restaurant was messy and they spoke softly, Yang Ming didn't need to listen. He only needed to see to know what they were talking about. However, since they didn't find trouble with him, he didn't need to bother with them. As for them flirting with Zhou Jiejia, whatever. It doesn't matter. After Lu Xiaojun and Li Jiaxing plotted for a while, they obviously came to a consensus. Yang Ming didn't pay attention to them. Naturally, he wouldn't care about their actions. Lu Xiaojun and Li Jiaxing stood up and walked towards Zhou Jiejia and the other girl. Zhou Jiejia and the other girl looked at the 2 uninvited guests curiously. Are you 2 freshmen from Songjiang Industry University? Lu Xiaojun asked politely. How do you know? Zhou Jiejie didn't speak, but the girl beside her was puzzled. However, this was equivalent to answering Lu Xiaojun's question. This girl was Zhou Jiejie's high school classmate. They had a good relationship and got into Songjiang Industry University together. Her name was Wang Shui. Let me introduce myself first. I am the vice president of the Songjiang Industry University Taekwondo Club. This is Li Jiaxing. He is also a member of the Taekwondo Club. Are the two of you interested in joining our Taekwondo Club? Lu Xiaojun asked. Taekwondo Club. Wang Shui glanced at Zhou Jiejie and saw her shaking her head, so she said to Lu Xiaojun, we just entered the school. Let's talk about the club later. We're not sure if we'll be interested in other clubs in the future. It doesn't matter. You can join the Taekwondo Club first. This won't affect you joining other clubs. University clubs can overlap. Lu Xiaojun certainly didn't want to let go of these two pure and lovely sisters. So, he decided to persuade them to join the club first. This way, he would be in a favorable position and everything would be easier. Let's talk about it later. I'm sorry, we need to eat. Zhou Jiejie was a little impatient, so she politely asked them to leave. It doesn't matter. As seniors, this meal should be our treat. Waiter, bring our food to this table. Let's eat together. After Lu Xiaojun finished speaking, he casually sat next to Zhou Jiejie, and Li Jiaxing also sat next to another girl. Although this girl wasn't as pure and beautiful as Zhou Jiejie, she was still acceptable. In front of the vice president, Li Jiaxing could only settle for the second best. However, it was good enough that he could have his share. Li Jiaxing was already satisfied. He just didn't know if he could get her. Zhou Jiejie saw the two of them sitting over so shamelessly. She frowned, we have our own money. We don't need your treat. Just treat it as a gesture from a senior. We will be classmates in the same university. Let's be friends for the first time and be friends for the second time. Let's be friends for the third time and be friends for the fourth time. Li Jiaxing said. What meat? Wang Shui obviously didn't understand. Meat? What meat? Lu Xiaojun glared at Li Jiaxing and said to Wang Shui, he said their dialect. It means that we are friends for the third time and be friends for the third time and be friends for the fourth time. Li Jiaxing also realized that he said something wrong. He smiled awkwardly and said, yes. Friends. Zhou Jiejie and Wang Shui were girls. It was normal that they didn't hear this. However, Wang Jitao had been paying attention to the movement over there since these two guys started to talk to Zhou Jiejie. How could he not understand Li Jiaxing's meaning? How could Wang Jitao not know what these two guys were thinking? They just wanted to strike up a conversation with a girl. It was fine if it was other girls, but Zhou Jiejie was his target. Chen Mengyan was a rose with thorns. It was fine if Yang Ming took advantage of it, but he couldn't let go of Zhou Jiejie. So, Wang Jitao was furious when he saw that these two guys were getting more and more disgusting. You two, what do you mean? Wang Jitao stood up and turned to Lu Xiaojun and Li Jiaxing and said arrogantly. What do you mean? Who are you? Lu Xiaojun saw that someone ruined his good thing and asked with some dissatisfaction. Let me tell you. You two better not cause trouble here. Wang Jitao said as he paid attention to Zhou Jiejie's expression. Seeing that her expression didn't change, Wang Jitao was anxious, so he said arrogantly, do you know who I am? Fuck, are you stupid? My first sentence was to ask who you are. You fucking asked me if I know who you are. Did your brain get kicked by a donkey? Lu Xiaojun saw that this freshman dared to be a thorn in his side, so he was unhappy. Damn, you don't fucking know what's going on, right? Yes, no matter how good the university was, there would always be some students who were prickly. These students paid sponsorship fees and were specially recruited for sports. Lu Xiaojun was a sports special student in Songjiang Industry University. Lu Xiaojun belonged to the prickly type of student, but he was also a freshman. Yes, when he was in his first year of university, the second and third year students were always riding on his head. Other than calling him for fights, all other good things had nothing to do with him. The younger sisters of the second and third year students were also taken by these guys. Lu Xiaojun didn't get any of them. Now, Lu Xiaojun's wife finally became a woman. He went from a first-year student to a second-year student. Finally, he could flirt with the younger sisters of the first year and bully the freshmen. Just as he was feeling good about himself, someone dared to prick in front of him. Wouldn't that be rebelling against him? What are you saying? Let me tell you. My dad is the chairman of Xiongfeng Group. Nothing will happen to you if you leave now. Otherwise, you will have to bear the consequences. Wang Jitao was also anxious. He was acting like a hero saving the beauty, but these two guys in front of him didn't play along. Xiongfeng Group. What's that? Lu Xiaojun wasn't from this city, so he naturally didn't hear of Xiongfeng Group. It's a small private company in Songjiang, Li Jiaxing said with disdain. His father was a senior executive in a state-owned enterprise, so he looked down on those private companies. Oh. Fuck, so you are the son of a nouveau riche. Lu Xiaojun laughed. You. Wang Jitao was used to being pampered. When did he ever get looked down on like this? Even Yang Ming didn't look down on him like this. In front of a beauty, people tend to be impulsive. Wang Jitao was furious. He picked up a beer bottle and smashed it on Lu Xiaojun's head. As the vice president of the Taekwondo club, Lu Xiaojun's reputation wasn't just for show. His reflexes were much better than the average person. When he saw Wang Jitao's beer bottle, he dodged it easily. He aimed at Wang Jitao's stomach and kicked him. Luckily, Wang Jitao only talked and didn't eat anything. Otherwise, he would have vomited everything in his stomach. Wang Jitao was mad. He took out his phone and dialed Zhang Biao's number. Hello, Zhang Biao. I am at the Tianbulong restaurant in front of Songjiang Industry University. I was beaten up. Call some people over. However, before Wang Jitao finished his words, Li Jiaxing snatched his phone and smashed it on the ground. He stepped on it and crushed it. You are quite badass. You dare to call for people? Li Jiaxing went over and punched Wang Jitao again. He hit Wang Jitao on the bridge of his nose. Suddenly, Wang Jitao's nose started to bleed. Alright, stop fighting. Everyone, stop. Although Zhou Jiejie felt that Wang Jitao wasn't a good person, he was standing up for her. It was reasonable for her to stop the fight. The reason why Zhou Jiejie waited until now to stop the fight was that she was waiting for Yang Ming to make a move, but the result made her very disappointed. Chapter 177. Yang Ming couldn't wait to see Wang Jitao get beaten up, so he kept saying in his heart, beat harder. Now, seeing that Zhou Jiejie was trying to mediate, Yang Ming couldn't sit back and watch. After all, Wang Jitao was still his brother, and Yang Ming didn't want to fall out with him immediately. He had to stand up helplessly and said lazily, you too, that's enough. I still want to eat. Don't fight here. Ha, another one who isn't afraid of death. Who are you? Don't tell me that your father is also the chairman of some group. Lu Xiaojun didn't expect that there were so many students in this class. But it was a good opportunity for him to practice. He was worried that he wouldn't have a chance to show his power. My father is just an ordinary worker. Yang Ming said faintly, It's fine if you leave now. After a while, when I'm in a bad mood, you'll be useless. Although Yang Ming's words were similar to what Wang Jitao said just now, this calm tone was more imposing than the angry tone. What? Lu Xiaojun was stunned. This kid dared to show off in front of me without any background. Could it be that he's a tiger? Are you sick? I'm not sick, but I guess you'll have to go to the hospital soon. After Yang Ming finished this sentence, he picked up a stool and threw it over. He knew that the other party was from the Taekwondo club. In terms of fighting, he might not be his opponent, but fighting was about skills. It had nothing to do with real ability. Years of actual combat experience told Yang Ming that no matter how strong the opponent was, as long as you made the first move, then the opponent's strength would be weakened a lot. Of course, this was an exception for martial arts masters, but such people didn't exist in reality. Yang Ming's moves were different from Wang Jitao's. Yang Ming was a fighting master. He knew how to defeat the enemy in one move and how to maximize the pain to the opponent. So, his moves were ruthless, accurate, and steady. Lu Xiaojun was a Taekwondo master, but he wasn't an actual combat master. It was easy to deal with someone like Wang Jitao who didn't have much fighting experience. But when facing someone like Yang Ming, before he could react, he was hit to the ground and his head was bleeding. Li Jiaxing often participated in fights, but Songjiang Industry University was a famous university. The students would at most be beaten black and blue. No one would hit someone's head with a wooden bench. This was the fighting style of a street gangster. Wasn't this the same as beating someone to death? Li Jiaxing was scared silly, but Yang Ming reminded him faintly, "Aren't you going to send him to the doctor?" Only then did Li Jiaxing react. He helped Lu Xiaojun up and walked to the door. When he walked to the door, he turned back and pointed at Yang Ming to warn, "You wait. Idiot." Yang Ming rolled his eyes and didn't take it to heart. Yang Ming had seen too many of these words of courtesy before leaving after being beaten up. Zhou Jiejie looked at Yang Ming's move, and her eyes were filled with a complicated look. Yang Ming didn't pay attention to Zhou Jiejie. He helped Wang Jitao up and said pretentiously, "Class monitor Wang, are you okay?" "I'm okay. Thank you, Yang Ming, for chasing them away." Wang Jitao felt that it was a good thing to have a violent friend around him. "I didn't think that there would be such a bad person in our university. He actually beat someone up." Yang Ming was talking about Lu Xiaojun on the surface, but he was mocking Wang Jitao for beating him up first. "Sorry, I was a little late." "That doesn't matter." "Damn, I finally vented my anger. I'm so pissed." Wang Jitao scolded. At this moment, Wang Jitao didn't care about Yang Ming stealing his limelight. He was thinking about how to find trouble with Lu Xiaojun. However, in this way, he transferred the spearhead to Lu Xiaojun, leaving enough time for Yang Ming to grow. Yang Ming had to thank those two guys. "Are you two okay?" He couldn't take Wang Jitao's beating for nothing. At least, he had to let Zhou Jiejie understand that he was injured because of her. "I'm fine. Thank you." Since they were injured, Zhou Jiejie couldn't be too cold, so she had to thank him perfunctorily. "Thank you, but your nose, is it okay?" Wang Shui was very enthusiastic. "I'm fine. It's not a big deal. This injury is nothing." Wang Jitao casually plugged his nose with tissue paper so that it would stop bleeding. Your online name is Charming Baby, right?" Wang Jitao suddenly pretended to be enlightened. "Yeah, you are." Zhou Jiejie also pretended not to remember. "I'm Prince Dateo," Wang Jitao said with joy. However, he didn't look like a prince now. "Oh, it turned out to be you. Hee hee." Zhou Jiejie smiled and recognized Wang Jitao. Hee, what a coincidence. I didn't expect to meet you here. Wang Jitao smiled. Yeah. Zhou Jiejia hesitated and said, why? Aren't you going to introduce me to these friends around you? Wang Jitao naturally didn't know that Zhou Jiejia and Yang Ming were old acquaintances. Seeing that she took the initiative to talk to him, he quickly said enthusiastically, these two are my high school classmates. Now, they are good buddies. The one who attacked just now was Yang Ming. This guy is a rough guy. He didn't scare you, right? Rough person. You're the rough person. Zhou Jiejia frowned, but she smiled and nodded to Yang Ming. Hello, my name is Zhou Jiejia. Thank you for teaching those two guys a lesson. Oh. You're also called Yang Ming. Your name is the same as one of my junior high school classmates. Is that so? Yang Ming glanced at this little flirtatious woman. He didn't understand what she wanted to do, but he didn't want to hit a smiling face. Although Yang Ming didn't have a good impression of her, he still nodded and said, that's a coincidence. I used to have an enemy. She is also called Zhou Jiejia. That's a bit of a coincidence. Zhou Jiejia smiled. There are many people with the same name in this world. It seems that we all have a lot of fate. Wang Jitao didn't see the smell of gunpowder in the tone of the two people. He thought it was really a coincidence. In this case, today's meal is on me. How about we eat together? Zhou Jiejia didn't want to eat with Wang Jitao, but she glanced at Yang Ming again. She was a little hesitant in her heart. She hesitated and said, okay, you guys eat. Zhang Bin and I have already eaten. We will go first. Yang Ming didn't want to eat with Zhou Jiejia. And they did eat. Just now, only Wang Jitao was bragging and didn't eat anything. To be honest, Wang Jitao was really unwilling to let Yang Ming and the others stay here. Since they took the initiative to leave, Wang Jitao had no reason to keep them. So he said, that's fine. I will deal with it directly in a while. You guys go first. Zhang Bin also came with his girlfriend. Naturally, he wasn't interested in getting to know other beauties. So when Yang Ming suggested it, the four people got up and left. After Yang Ming and the others left, Wang Jitao just wanted to sit with Zhou Jiejia and the others, but he heard Zhou Jiejia say, Wang Jitao, since you all have eaten, then let's call it a day. Let's meet again another day. Your nose. Let's go to the school doctor's office first. Yang Ming had left. Zhou Jiejia didn't want to stay with Wang Jitao anymore, so she tactfully asked him to leave. Wang Jitao didn't expect things to turn out like this. But he felt that the beauty still cared about him, so he wasn't that disappointed. So he said, okay, let's call it a day. Let's talk on QQ another day. Wang Jitao didn't eat a single bite, but he had to pay for 2 tables of bills. But he was willing to do so. So there was a saying, if you aren't an idiot, how would you know the joy of being an idiot? After leaving the restaurant, they saw a small stall selling Chinese crepes. The smell made Wang Jitao drool. So he took out 2 yuan and bought a Chinese crepe. He ate it while walking. A man with a face full of blood and a paper stuffed in his nose was eating Chinese crepes at the entrance of Songjiang Industry University. It was a beautiful scene. It was said that the school's security treated him as a beggar. When he was about to enter the university, he was kicked out. Luckily, Wang Jitao had the payment receipt, or else he couldn't explain it clearly. Yang Ming, you hurt that person just now. Aren't you afraid of revenge? Chen Mengyan said with some blame, today's matter, it's not your turn to stand up. That's right, boss. It's better that Wang Jitao was beaten to death. Why do you care about him? Zhang Bin said with confusion. Yang Ming shook his head and didn't say anything. He was conflicted, but he couldn't fall out with Wang Jitao now. I just can't stand the arrogance of those two people. Yang Ming found an excuse for himself. Chapter 178. Wang Jitao had been very depressed recently. Not only did he fail the college entrance exam, but he also went camping and finally found a girl to relax, but he was scared to the point of impotence. After that, Wang Jitao went to many hospitals, big and small. He tried all kinds of ancestral secret prescriptions, old military doctors, and imperial doctors, but they didn't work. The result of the examination was that they weren't seriously ill, just a psychological disorder caused by the fear. However, it was this kind of psychological suggestion that was the most difficult to cure. Otherwise, there wouldn't be so many mental illnesses in this world. Physical illnesses were easy to treat, just take medicine and surgery, and they could be cured. But this kind of illness without any problems, how do you want people to treat it? Therefore, most of the doctors asked Wang Jitao to see a psychiatrist. Wang Jitao was anxious, but he couldn't tell his family, so the depression in his heart could be imagined. Fortunately, university started, and there were a lot of messy things, so Wang Jitao temporarily forgot about his illness. Throwing away the oil paper that wrapped the Chinese crepe, Wang Jitao scolded, "Damn, the price of goods is rising, and this thing is also out of stock. There was half a ham sausage in it, but now it's gone. If I knew, I would have bought two." When the oil paper fell to the ground, an old man with a red armband ran quickly to Wang Jitao. "Student, you are throwing trash everywhere on campus, a fine of 50 yuan. "Ah." Wang Jitao was stunned. "This is a fine." "Nonsense, if you don't get fined, will you remember next time?" The old man rolled his eyes and said, "Hurry up, let me tell you, if you have a bad attitude, you can report it to the whole school." When Wang Jitao heard the report to the whole school, he immediately took out 50 yuan and gave it to the old man. He still had to pick up girls. If this matter was reported, his reputation would be ruined. However, Wang Jitao didn't understand. There was no one near him just now, and this old man was at least 100 meters away. How did he run over so quickly? It was like he was stepping on two flaming wheels. In fact, there was no such thing as a fine old man in school. If there was a fine, it would be the cadre in charge of school discipline in the student union. However, Wang Jitao was a new student. How would he know about this? And this old man was a swindler in this area. He specifically targeted new students and succeeded time and time again. After Wang Jitao left, the old man immediately straightened his back and his voice returned to a middle-aged man's voice. "Idiot, seeing how rich you are, I should have asked for 200 from you." Yang Ming's group of 4 split up when they passed by the entrance of the female dormitory. There were still important things to do in the afternoon. The students of each major had to report to the designated places of their respective majors. Yang Ming majored in computer science. In fact, he didn't have to worry about the problem of employment now. Even if he wasn't good enough, he could earn some income through stone gambling, so his major wasn't so important. Yang Ming's parents, on the other hand, hoped that he would enroll in a more popular major. Based on the current situation, high-tech information majors were still more popular, and computing was one of them. As for Yang Ming himself, he was also more interested in computers, so he treated it as a hobby. Anyway, he had decided to rely on his ability to earn money in the future. "Brother, how do I get to the Computer Science Institute?" Yang Ming found a senior with glasses who seemed to be more studious and asked. "Computer Science Institute." "What Computer Science Institute?" the senior with glasses asked. "It's computer science," Yang Ming said in his heart. It can't be. Did this guy's glasses not come from hard work? But from playing games? Damn, Computer Science Institute. You should have said so earlier. The senior with glasses suddenly realized. I'm from the Computer Science Institute. You're a new student, right? I'll take you there. Brothel. Yang Ming was surprised. How is this possible? Looking at the man in glasses in front of him, he was like a pimp in a brothel in ancient times. He patted his chest and said, I'm from the brothel. I'll take you there. Yeah, Computer Science Institute, abbreviated as Computer Science Institute. What Computer Science Institute? Computer Science and Automation Control have been divided into two departments. The senior with glasses said. So that's the case. Yang Ming nodded. But isn't this abbreviation a bit too wretched? Maybe it was because he saw Yang Ming's weird expression. The senior with glasses said disapprovingly, why? Do you think this abbreviation is a bit ambiguous? Yang Ming nodded. Do you still need to ask? It'll be fine after a long time. Every batch is called like this. The boys in the Computer Science Institute are called male prostitutes, and the girls are called female prostitutes. Like me, I'm a male prostitute. You'll be a male prostitute in the future too. The senior with glasses said seriously. Yang Ming looked left and right. This was indeed a school. If he didn't know, he would have thought that the person in front of him was a nightclub duckhead who wanted to drag him down. Damn, I worked so hard to get into university, but in the end, I became a glorious male prostitute. Hey, brother, don't think too much. This name has been used for so many years. The senior with glasses said, also, this shows that the boys in the Computer Science Institute are famous. Famous? What do you mean? Yang Ming was somewhat inexplicable. Think about it. The term Computer Science Institute isn't groundless. There's a reason why the boys in the Computer Science Institute are called male prostitutes. It shows that there are many boys in our institute, and the quality is good. Those little slutty girls from the Economics Department and Foreign Languages Department come to our institute to find a partner. The senior with glasses said mysteriously. Damn. After Yang Ming listened, he thought to himself, he is really a fucking prostitute. But if you want to find a partner to marry, you should find one in our Computer Science Institute. But there are fewer girls in computer science. You have to make the first move, or else you won't have a chance. The senior with glasses said. Why do I have to find someone in the Computer Science Institute? Yang Ming didn't understand. It's not that you have to find someone in the Computer Science Institute. It's just that there are too many girls in the Economics Department and Foreign Languages Department. The overall atmosphere isn't good. There are too few pure girls. Even if there are, they will be led astray by others. All of them are slutty. The senior with glasses said. Led astray. Yang Ming didn't believe that Chen Mengyan would be led astray by others. It's true that the environment can change a person, but not everyone will be changed by the environment. You don't believe me? I have done a lot of research on this. The senior with glasses said, in the past, I had a partner in the Foreign Languages Department. That girl was beautiful, but what happened in the end? Didn't she still fall into the arms of a rich man? Damn. This guy is a very hurt man. No wonder he's so cynical. Yang Ming felt that this guy must be a special case. It just happened to him, so he was able to beat 100 people. Today is the registration day of the Computer Science Institute. I'm going to take this opportunity to see if there are any suitable new girls and grab one. The senior with glasses revealed his lustful nature in a few words. Another guy who is cold on the outside. I thought he was a nerd. Yang Ming shook his head. However, with such an old man telling Yang Ming about the Computer Science Institute, it saved Yang Ming a lot of trouble. He even knew who to look for if you fail an exam, which teacher was strict in class, and which class didn't take attendance. My name is Zhang Weihan. If there's anything you don't understand in the future, you can look for me directly. I'm from the Student Life Department. The senior with glasses enthusiastically handed a business card to Yang Ming. It can't be. Student leaders now have business cards? Yang Ming took the business card and looked at it. Damn. It specializes in finding people who fail an exam, drawing questions before an exam, introducing short-term odd jobs, and tutoring. Seeing Yang Ming's shocked expression, Zhang Weihan was a little embarrassed, to earn some extra money. My phone is on the card. If you need anything, just call me directly. Yang Ming didn't need the last two items, but the first two seemed to be useful in the future. University exams were different from high school. You couldn't get high marks just by cheating. A lot of teachers in university would divide the final exam results into two parts, the usual results and the exam results. Usually, it was 3 to 7, but there were also 5 to 5. The usual results referred to the number of times you attended class. Usually, one absence would deduct 5 to 10 marks until all marks were deducted. In other words, if the final exam results were 5 to 5, even if you didn't get a single question wrong, you would still fail if you missed too many classes. Yang Ming took this into consideration, so he kept the business card. He nodded to Zhang Weihan and said, "Okay, I'll call you if I need anything. The fee won't be too high, right?" "Of course not, but if you expect to fail an exam, it's best to let me know in advance. You know, the people marking the exam papers are all students. I just need to get through this layer of relationship. But after the results are out, it's not easy to do. It's all up to the teacher. So, the price before and after the exam is different. If you look for me before the exam, it's usually 200 yuan, but full refund. After the exam, it depends on the situation. If it doesn't work, you have to wait until the makeup exam." Zhang Weihan explained, "You also know that the school management is very strict now. There are very few teachers who break the rules for a few hundred yuan." Chapter 179. Yang Ming nodded. He knew that Zhang Weihan was telling the truth. Especially in a famous university like Songjiang Industry University, the professors were all great. For example, if Li Weishan wanted to earn money, he could easily earn it. Who would care about such a small profit? Moreover, he was risking making a mistake. However, he didn't agree with Zhang Weihan's approach. He was obviously using money to entice those poor students who had no social experience. However, this wasn't something that Yang Ming could control. Since those students accepted Zhang Weihan's bribe, it proved that their willpower wasn't that strong. After that, Zhang Weihan told Yang Ming about the few people that he couldn't offend in Songjiang Industry University. One of them was Lu Xiaojun that he met in the afternoon. These people were basically from the Taekwondo club or karate club. Most of them were specially recruited as athletic students. They relied on their fighting skills to be a tyrant in the university. However, the university's supervision was still very strict. As long as you didn't provoke them, they wouldn't find trouble with you. Some of them were from rich families. Although they couldn't be beaten up, there were people who were willing to work for them. Therefore, these people couldn't be provoked. Zhang Weihan explained. Yang Ming wasn't afraid of those athletic students. Wasn't it just fighting? That was his strength. Yang Ming was most annoyed by the second type. People like Wang Jitao who relied on their family's power to stir up trouble. This kind of person was connected to society, and they played the tricks of society. Therefore, Yang Ming secretly remembered the names of those rich and powerful people in his heart. At least before he solved Wang Jitao's problem, he shouldn't provoke them. He followed Zhang Weihan to the entrance of the computer science department. He didn't expect to meet a familiar person. Zhang Weihan's eyes almost popped out of their sockets when he saw Yang Ming. There was such a beauty in this batch of freshmen. Yang Ming, what a coincidence. Zhou Jiejia and Wang Shui walked together and greeted Yang Ming with a smile. Yang Ming frowned. Could it be that little Sunny was also from the CGI brothel? It was really a good fit for her. Thinking of this, Yang Ming smiled and said, "Hello, Ji Nu." "Ha. Prostitute." Zhou Jiejia's face changed in an instant. Even if the two of them had conflicts before, there was no need to be so mean, right? Calling someone a prostitute in front of her. Wait, could it be that the person called Dabin on QQ was really him? Did he only say that after watching the video? That's not right. That person definitely can't be Yang Ming, right? This classmate, please don't misunderstand. Zhang Weihan glared at Yang Ming. How can you speak like that? He couldn't help but shake his head. This brat was still too inexperienced. He didn't know how to pick up girls. Things are like this. Our computer science department has always been called the CGI. The boys in the CGI are called G-men, and the girls are called G-nu. He and I are both G-men. Zhang Weihan was worried that he didn't have a reason to talk to a beauty. Yang Ming's G-nu helped him. There is such a saying. Zhou Jiejia looked at the faint smirk in Yang Ming's eyes and knew that she misunderstood. However, it seemed that he was still the same as before. He liked to joke with others. But why was he so good to Suya? Yeah, when you become a senior, you will get used to it. Zhang Weihan patted his chest and said, "This is my business card. If you have any difficulties, you can call me." Zhang Weihan didn't forget to expand his business while picking up girls. Beauty. When looking for me, I can give a suitable discount or not. It depends on the beauty's performance. Zhang Weihan once helped a few beauties solve their exam problems for free, and the price they paid was to sleep with him. Of course, those women were all sluts who were ridden by thousands of people. After that, they cut off contact with Zhang Weihan. However, this kind of one-night stand made Zhang Weihan very happy. If he could develop a girlfriend, it would be even more perfect. Wang Shui took the business card for Zhou Jiejia. The four people walked into the computer science department building together. What Yang Ming didn't expect was that Zhou Jiejia and Yang Ming were in the same class. Yang Ming was in class 08, class 2, and Zhou Jiejia was in class 08, class 1. In order to create a learning atmosphere for students, the university's classes were divided according to the order of the college entrance examination results. In other words, Zhou Jiejia's results were actually higher than Yang Ming's. This made Yang Ming somewhat surprised. I really didn't expect this little slut to be so powerful. It turned out that she was defeated by Suya and himself. She was so badass during the college entrance examination. However, Yang Ming was just thinking about it casually. How Zhou Jiejia was now had nothing to do with him. Let her be. Now that Yang Ming had matured a lot, it was impossible to find someone to beat up Zhou Jiejia in the past. Although Yang Ming often claimed that he punched the Nanshan nursing home, kicked the Beihai kindergarten, and specialized in bullying the old, weak, and disabled, it was just a saying. If Yang Ming really did it, Yang Ming wouldn't do it. The opposite classes in the university were actually the same class. For the big class, the 10 classes of the whole department would attend together. For the small class, the two opposite classes would attend together in the same classroom. Moreover, the two classes had the same tutor. Therefore, Yang Ming and Zhou Jiejie were in the same class, and it was an inevitable fact. Although Yang Ming wasn't very willing, he now thought that he didn't have the ability to influence the leader of the department, so he could only pretend that he didn't see it. Zhang Weihan came to the department to do the makeup exam for others. He went to find a familiar teacher to draw the questions, so he first said goodbye to Yang Ming and Zhou Jiejie and said that he would contact them often. After entering the classroom, Yang Ming simply found a seat at the back and sat down. He roughly observed the situation of the entire classroom. It could be said that the university campus was a place where the gap between the rich and the poor was more serious. Those students who were admitted from the mountainous areas were really poor. It could be seen from their clothes that they usually lived a poor life. Those students who lived in the city, no matter how poor they were, they would still dress beautifully. Just like Yang Ming, a child from a worker's family, the parents would also buy a few new clothes for the child in the new semester. Of course, these weren't things that Yang Ming could care about. However, Yang Ming observed that most of the students who were well-dressed were also well-dressed people. The poor students were also surrounded by poor students. Birds of a feather flock together, and people flocked together since ancient times. After about 10 minutes, a man in his 20s with a crew cut came in and stood on the podium. "Okay, everyone, be quiet." The man knocked on the podium and said. The freshman students were still more afraid of the teachers, unlike the seniors who basically didn't take the tutors seriously. The middle-aged man's style was obviously that of a teacher, so the students who were whispering under the stage closed their mouths. "My name is Xia Yongqiang." At this point, the man paused, and the students below burst into laughter. "Everyone, don't laugh. It's the name Xia Yongqiang in the country love story. I'm the tutor of your Class 1 and Class 2. It wasn't known which bootlicker took the lead to clap, but Yang Ming could only clap twice perfunctorily. Xia Yongqiang made a downward gesture and said, "You don't have to welcome me. It's useless to flatter me. I'm only responsible for supervising your conduct and discipline. I don't care about your exam results." As soon as the words came out, the leading students looked very embarrassed. They didn't expect that there was a world of difference between university and high school. The teacher didn't fall for it. "Next, I will start to call the roll according to the roll call. The students who are called, stand up and answer. I will simply identify them first." Xia Yongqiang said, "Then, tomorrow, everyone will take a day off. From the day after tomorrow, the official military training will start for a month. After the roll call, take the payment receipt to the logistics department to receive the military training camouflage uniform. In addition, after the military training, we will start the class committee election. If you want to participate in the election, prepare your own speech. The positions in the election are class monitor, vice class monitor, study committee member, life committee member, sports committee member. There aren't many positions, and there aren't many requirements. We will elect once every semester. It's a democratic selection. I won't participate. So, I will first remind those who want to do bad things, don't come to me." Xia Yongqiang's words attracted a burst of laughter from the students below, but Yang Ming felt that this tutor was not bad. Next, Xia Yongqiang began to call the roll call according to the roll call. Except for a few students who didn't come, Yang Ming roughly remembered the names of the rest of the people in the class. There were only about 30 people in each class in the university. There were only 60 people in 2 classes, so it wasn't difficult to remember. However, there were more than 60 students in 2 large classes. Including Zhou Jiejie, there were only 14 girls. This ratio was a bit miserable. Chapter 180. Yang Ming roughly looked at them. Among these girls, there were only 2 or 3 who looked decent. If the others weren't distinguished by their attire, Yang Ming would even think that they were boys. Moreover, they were very rough boys. The only one who could be called a beauty was Zhou Jiejie, but Yang Ming wasn't very interested in her. Looking at beauties was a necessary thing for every boy when they arrived at a new class. It wasn't that Yang Ming was a pervert. This was just an instinctive reaction. After the roll call, Yang Ming left the classroom. Zhang Bin just finished his work and called Yang Ming. The two people scheduled to meet at the entrance of the logistics office. The clothes used for military training were modified camouflage uniforms. Of course, it couldn't be compared with the real army. After all, the price was there. It was only 30 yuan. It included the clothes, pants, and a hat. It would be strange if you could buy something good at this price. But fortunately, it was only for a month. In the future, it could be used as a work uniform when working. It was more affordable. Yang Ming was still looking forward to the military training in university because it was a real soldier who would train the university students. It wasn't like junior high school and high school where the physical education teacher would be a guest. Of course, some junior high school and high school students who had connections could also invite real army instructors, but the training for the students was simplified a lot. After all, the students at that time were too young and couldn't stand the high-intensity physical training. University was different. The university's military training was very close to the army's recruit training, especially for national key universities like Songjiang Industry University. The freshman's military training was very important. Being a soldier was Yang Ming's childhood dream, but his family didn't allow it, so this dream could never be realized. However, Yang Ming still envied those soldiers who stood on the training ground valiantly. Therefore, military training could also be regarded as fulfilling Yang Ming's childhood dream in disguise. That night, when Yang Ming returned to the dormitory, the person in the third room had already arrived. He was sitting in the living room and talking on the phone. When he saw Yang Ming and Zhang Bin come in, he nodded to them in a friendly manner. Yang Ming and Zhang Bin were stunned when they saw this guy. Their impression of him was too deep. Wasn't this guy the four-eyed frog who wanted to hit on Chen Mengyan during the day but was punched by Lu Xiaojun? He pointed to the phone in his hand, then made an apologetic gesture to Yang Ming and Zhang Bin. Then, he continued to talk on the phone. Yes, I have already inquired clearly. His name is Lu Xiaojun. He is the vice president of our school's taekwondo club. I'll let it go this time. I just transferred here. I don't want to cause trouble. I'm fine. That's all. Goodbye. Sorry, it's a phone call from home. The four-eyed frog held his glasses. This pair of glasses was obviously new. The one during the day was broken by Lu Xiaojun. Hello, my name is Tian Donghua. You are my roommates, right? This frog's surname is actually Tian. What a coincidence. Yang Ming smiled and said, Tian Donghua, right? My name is Yang Ming, and his name is Zhang Bin. We are both freshmen this year, students from the city. Listening to your accent, you aren't from this city, right? I am from Donghai City. I transferred here. Tian Donghua said, nice to meet you all. After Yang Ming and Zhang Bin heard it, they couldn't help but look at each other. It was quite difficult to transfer to a university. It must go through the education department of the province, and both universities must agree at the same time. It seemed that this Tian Donghua's family had a lot of power. I am also very happy, but we met during the day, hee. Yang Ming smiled. During the day. Tian Donghua was stunned. He carefully looked at Yang Ming for a long time, and then he suddenly said, "Ah. I know, you are the boy next to the beauty. Hee, you remembered. It seems that your eyesight is good. Yang Ming said, "Why? I heard you on the phone just now. Do you have a grudge against Lu Xiaojun?" Tian Donghua was stunned. His face changed slightly, but he immediately returned to normal and said, "We will be studying and living together for a few years. I don't want to hide it from you. I am really unhappy with that guy. Damn, how can he do things like that? He didn't distinguish who came first, and he even hit people. I want to teach him a lesson, but I just came here, and I don't want to cause trouble. Let's forget about it first." Ha! If you want to teach him a lesson, then your purpose has been achieved. Zhang Bin listened and laughed. Achieved? What do you mean? Could it be that this guy was taught a lesson by a big brother? Tian Donghua was stunned at first, then he asked with great interest. That guy was beaten up by Yang Ming at the Tianbalong restaurant near the school at noon. Zhang Bin said exaggeratedly, "He was in the hospital at that time." Are you serious? Damn, this is so satisfying. Brother, you are so strong. Tian Donghua looked at Yang Ming in surprise. Yes, but that guy started the trouble first. Then, one of my friends tried to stop him, and he beat him up. So, I went to help. Yang Ming didn't want to show off, so he said helplessly. Good fight. That's great. Tian Donghua said happily, let's go. I will treat you guys. Let's find a place to drink. Damn, this guy is so arrogant. Let's forget about it today. Zhang Bin and I have already eaten. Let's talk about it tomorrow. Yang Ming shook his head. That's fine. Let's talk about it tomorrow. Tian Donghua said straightforwardly. No problem. Yang Ming and Zhang Bin both felt that Tian Donghua was a good person. After that, the three of them chatted for a while. When Tian Donghua found out that Chen Mengyan was Yang Ming's girlfriend, he was envious, but he had to dispel other thoughts. However, the three of them met for the first time. Although they hit it off, it wasn't good to get too involved in each other's personal affairs. So, the topic was basically around women. Both of you aren't virgins anymore, right? Don't lie. Tian Donghua looked at the two of them and asked. Hee, you can see that. Zhang Bin said with a lewd smile, I haven't been virgins for a long time, but Yang Ming wasn't that long ago. Not long ago. Is it with that Chen Mengyan? Tian Donghua had some doubts. I think she is still a virgin. You don't know about this, right? Yang Ming has more than one girlfriend. Zhang Bin said mysteriously. Yang Ming frowned. He didn't want too many people to know about this kind of private matter. However, since Zhang Bin said it, he could only go along with it and smile. What is it? We just have a good relationship. Tian Donghua didn't care. He seemed to think that it was normal, so he didn't continue to pursue this topic. The next day, the three of them agreed to go for a drink, but because Yang Ming and Zhang Bin were freshmen, they had to gather on the field at 7:00 the next morning, so they didn't go. They just had a quick meal nearby and went back to the dormitory to sleep. The day of military training had finally arrived. Although Yang Ming had great expectations for the military training, the content of the first day of military training made Yang Ming depressed. The first day was all freshmen sitting on the ground of the stadium and listening to the mobilization meeting of the school's sports department leader. The leader repeatedly emphasized that everyone must participate in the military training, and they couldn't be absent. The military training was considered as a subject and counted as graduation credits. A voluminous report was done in the morning. It couldn't be helped. This was the procedure of every school, and it couldn't be changed just because someone wanted to. In the afternoon, he saw the instructor in his class. He was a young man who was about the same age as Yang Ming. He was dark, thin, and very sturdy. Yang Ming didn't know which army he was from, because these were confidential. The instructor and Yang Ming were from the same family. His name was Yang Yong, and his hometown was in Shandong. Although Yang Ming was already very sturdy, he was still a little lacking when standing in front of Yang Yong. When Yang Yong asked everyone to stand in line, some of the students in the class were obedient, some were lazy and perfunctory, and some simply pretended not to hear it. It couldn't be helped. These proud children were used to being spoiled. Naturally, they didn't put these uneducated soldiers in their eyes. Yang Yong was also helpless, but he was used to the military training every year. When college students participated in the military training, it was good if half of them trained seriously. The rest were just for the credits. However, Yang Ming and a few students who loved sports responded to Yang Yong's call. This made Yang Yong very happy. Their bodies were their own, and they would benefit from training. Due to the pressure of school credits, most of the students were weekly practicing marching in unison. Many girls couldn't stand it and used the excuse of physiological problems to ask for leave. Yang Yong could only give them leave. They were on their period, and he couldn't go to the toilet to check. Chapter 181. During the military training, each department trained in a different venue, so Yang Ming didn't know how Zhang Bin and Chen Mengyan were doing. He just felt that this kind of intense training was too ordinary. Why couldn't so many people stand it? In fact, it couldn't be said that these students who took leave were avoiding the military training. The country's education system was there. From primary school, only cultural education was focused on, ignoring other subjects such as physical education. Many students didn't even go to physical education more than a few times. This sounded very exaggerated, but it was true in some places. So, military training was reasonable, but it wasn't. At least for those students who didn't have long-term physical education, it was very unreasonable. At least they should have some physical education foundation, right? In the past few years, there were students with poor physical fitness who suddenly died during the military training, so the school and the instructor were afraid of taking responsibility. So, those students who couldn't stand it were allowed to rest. Yang Ming was one of the few students who never asked for leave. Others more or less asked for leave to rest. After a day of military training, Yang Ming didn't feel much. He felt that a fight consumed more energy than this, but Zhang Bin was so tired that he couldn't walk. Chen Mengyan and Zhao Sisi also went back to the dormitory to rest. Originally, they planned to eat today, but when Tian Donghua saw Zhang Bin like a dead dog, he could only dismiss the idea. Damn, I'm so tired. I can't take it anymore. As soon as Zhang Bin returned to the dormitory, he fell on the sofa in the living room. Yang Ming didn't have anything to do. He went to the cafeteria with Tian Donghua to buy 3 meals and brought one back for Zhang Bin. The relationship between Yang Ming and Tian Donghua was neither salty nor light. They weren't close friends, but they had a good relationship. The friendship between men was mostly built on the drinking table and fighting. There was still a lack of opportunity between the two people. The topics they talked about now were nothing more than the school and beauties, but it rarely involved their own problems. After a few days of military training, Zhang Bin wasn't as tired as he was on the first day. To use a popular saying, it was training, and you'd get used to it. The military training passed by in a busy manner and did not cause any disturbances. When Yang Yong left, he deliberately said to Yang Ming, "Young man, your physical fitness is not bad. It's okay. It's a pity that I couldn't learn more. I heard that the army taught a lot of fighting skills." Yang Ming said with regret. "Actually, it's nothing much. It's not bad to practice military boxing well. Didn't I give you my phone number? You can always contact me when you are free, but under normal circumstances, I don't turn on my phone during training. Yang Yong patted Yang Ming's shoulder and said. Yang Ming nodded silently, a little melancholy. People's lives have a good relationship with other people's TSS lives. But most of the time, whether the relationship was good or not, once they parted ways, they might not see each other again. After the military training, it happened to be a week. This gave the students some time to rest. It wasn't until today that Tian Donghua had the opportunity to invite Yang Ming and Zhang Bin to drink together. Tian Donghua seemed to have a good family background, but the few of them were forthright people. They didn't care about showing off. So, they directly found a barbecue stall at the school gate. They asked for some mutton skewers and beer and drank directly. After a few glasses of beer, Zhang Bin began to talk more. Tian Donghua also became enthusiastic. Only Yang Ming was more or less the same as before, because he had always been very courageous. Old Tian, which school were you originally from? Asked Zhang Bin. Donghai University. How was it? Tian Donghua smiled. I was admitted with my own ability. Donghai University. Isn't that similar to Songjiang Industry University? How did you transfer here? Right, aren't you from Donghai? Why did you give up the near and seek the far? Asked Zhang Bin strangely. Yang Ming didn't make a sound, but quietly waited for Tian Donghua's answer. Tian Donghua definitely didn't transfer just for fun. There must be other stories behind it. Sure enough, Tian Donghua sighed. Don't mention it. Isn't it for a woman? Woman? It can't be. Chasing a woman so far. You're awesome. Zhang Bin gave a thumbs up. Damn, what chasing a woman? Motherfucker, I'm angry when I say it. Tian Donghua scolded, I have a girlfriend at Donghai University, but a lecturer in their department always pestered her. I broke the lecturer's leg in anger. It wasn't a big deal, but the lecturer's family still had some background. In desperation, I could only transfer to Songjiang. Not a big deal. Yang Ming secretly paid attention to Tian Donghua's tone. Breaking a university lecturer's leg was not a big deal. If it was an ordinary student, he would have been expelled already. He still had to transfer out of desperation. If he could transfer out of trouble, how powerful would his family be? Since he had so much power, was there a need to transfer? This kid definitely wasn't telling the truth. What about the woman? Zhang Bin didn't think so much and continued to ask. AI, isn't this the sad thing? That woman actually said that I was a barbarian. She broke up with me. If I didn't stand up for her, she would have been insulted by the lecturer. Tian Donghua slammed the table and scolded, don't mention it. It's all tears when I mention it. It's so sad. Yang Ming thought, this is probably the real reason why you transferred, right? However, Yang Ming couldn't get to the root of this personal matter. He could only comfort him, there are plenty of fish in the sea. Songjiang is the source of all the beauties in the country. That's true. I heard that Songjiang has a lot of beauties, so I came here. Tian Donghua nodded. However, Yang Ming's next words were a bit of a blow to this guy, but for a science and engineering college like Songjiang Industry University, there aren't many girls, and there are even fewer beautiful ones. Ah. Really? Tian Donghua was stunned and said, I don't believe it. Isn't your girlfriend good enough? This is what I wanted to say. Beauties are basically taken. Yang Ming continued. Damn. At most, I won't look for her in the university, right? Tian Donghua complained, don't worry. I can't take advantage of my friend's wife. I'm not that ungrateful. The three of them talked and laughed, and the distance was shortened. This barbecue stall was the kind that was popular. Many students from Songjiang Industry University came here to eat barbecue at night. The 2 guys and 1 girl near Yangming were also students of the university. I heard that something happened to the vice president of the Taekwondo club. One of the guys at the next table asked. Yeah, don't you know? It happened yesterday. Another guy said. What happened? How come I didn't know? The girl asked curiously. It was said that Lu Xiaojun got a room with a girl in a hotel and was arrested for prostitution. Guy B said. Prostitution? What happened? Guy A asked. Even if it was prostitution, the news couldn't have spread so fast, right? Could it be fake? It wasn't prostitution. The girl was a non-mainstream one. She had a one-night stand with Lu Xiaojun. Guy B said vividly, so after the police questioned him, they let Lu Xiaojun out. But when Lu Xiaojun just left the police station, he was stopped by a person who claimed to be the non-mainstream boyfriend. He said that Lu Xiaojun had done his girlfriend, and he wanted an explanation. Lu Xiaojun was already angry enough that he was being treated as a prostitute. He didn't expect that someone would dare to come and make trouble for him. He saw that the guy was thin, so he didn't take it seriously. He went up and wanted to push the guy away. As a result, the guy whistled, and 7 or 8 punks came from nearby. They went up and beat Lu Xiaojun up. They even broke his face. So serious. But he deserved it. This guy isn't a good person either. Guy A sighed. Lower your voice. Don't let others hear you. Lu Xiaojun has a high position in the Taekwondo club. Don't get into trouble. Guy B advised. Their conversation was heard clearly by Yang Ming and the other 2. Tian Donghua was amused. Damn, this kind of person deserves to be unlucky. Zhang Bin didn't think much of it. He followed along with a few words, but Yang Ming was lost in thought. Such a familiar method. Yang Ming didn't believe that there was such a coincidence. He could meet the non-mainstream boyfriend after leaving the police station. Obviously, someone had planned this all along. A clear image appeared in Yang Ming's mind. Wang Jitao, this guy is really vengeful. Thinking of this, Yang Ming had to start thinking about how to get rid of Wang Jitao as soon as possible. Otherwise, with such a person by his side, it was no different from a time bomb. Chapter 182. After eating and drinking, Tian Donghua didn't forget to pay the bill. But as soon as he paid the bill, he fainted. Zhang Bin was already unconscious. Luckily, Yang Ming was strong enough to carry them back to the dorm. The guard at the door thought that they were kidnapped. He asked for a long time before letting Yang Ming go. Back in the dorm, Yang Ming didn't care too much. Even if he was strong, he couldn't be so wasteful, right? He threw them on the floor and then went to the bathroom to take a shower. When he came out, Zhang Bin and Tian Donghua were hugging each other. Yang Ming was shocked. Could it be that these 2 have some bad habits? But he was relieved when he saw that they were both sleeping. Maybe they were just hugging each other out of habit? But it would be interesting if they kissed each other. Back in the room, Yang Ming suddenly saw that there were 4 missed calls on the phone on the table. After checking, 3 of them were from Lan Ling and 1 was from Chen Mengyan. Yang Ming scratched his forehead and remembered that he put the phone on the table to charge before he left for dinner. He didn't bring it out. Yang Ming called Lan Ling first. It wasn't that Yang Ming was biased, but it was because Lan Ling called 3 times. Maybe there was something urgent. Hello. Yang Ming. Lan Ling picked up the phone. Yes, it's me. What's the matter? Asked Yang Ming. There is something. Just now, Elder Lu Weishan came to our house and gave me an invitation. Tomorrow is his 50th birthday. He asked us to attend. Lan Ling said. Tomorrow. Why did he only inform us now? Yang Ming was stunned. It's so rushed. How can we prepare a gift? Yeah, that's what I asked too. But old man Lu said that he was afraid that we would buy gifts for him, so he purposely told us one day in advance. Lan Ling explained, he said that both of us have no income, so there's no need to be so polite. So that's how it is. I understand. Yang Ming didn't think that Elder Lu had forgotten about him. Just as Lan Ling said, the main reason was that he didn't want him to spend money. What time tomorrow? Yang Ming asked. 10 o'clock at the White Swan Hotel, Lan Ling said. Got it. I'll pick you up with Zhang Bin tomorrow. I'll call you when we arrive, Yang Ming instructed. Yes, I understand. Lan Ling replied. Rest early. See you tomorrow, Yang Ming instructed. Yes. I miss you. Lan Ling hung up the phone. Yang Ming then called Chen Mengyan. Yang Ming, where are you? Chen Mengyan asked worriedly, why didn't you pick up when I called you just now? Didn't I tell you before? I went out to eat with Zhang Bin and another roommate. I didn't bring my phone with me. I only saw that you were calling me when I came back. Yang Ming said embarrassedly. Oh, I was so worried. Chen Mengyan scolded, don't go out too late next time. Do you know? That Lu Xiaojun we met that day was beaten to the point where he was hospitalized. You knew about it too. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. News spread quickly on campus. It seemed that the female dormitory also heard about it. Yes, I just heard it from my roommate. It's good that you're fine. Chen Mengyan said tenderly, oh yeah, are you free tomorrow? I want to buy some daily necessities. Tomorrow. Yang Ming was in a dilemma. He had to attend Elder Lu Weishan's birthday banquet tomorrow. What's wrong? Do you have something to do tomorrow? Chen Mengyan heard Yang Ming's hesitation. It's like this. Tomorrow is the birthday of one of my elders. I have to attend his birthday banquet. Yang Ming explained, he's also a professor at Songjiang Industry University. Zhang Bin and I met him in Tingchong. So that's the case. Then, of course, you have to do something serious. Chen Mengyan suddenly changed the topic. Yang Ming, are you lying to me again? Lie to you? What do you mean by lying to you again? When did I lie to you? Yang Ming was shocked, but he asked with a smile. You didn't lie to me in high school. You always used birthday banquet as an excuse to skip class. Chen Mengyan also smiled. Ugh, there's no class tomorrow. Why would I lie to you? Yang Ming said awkwardly, why don't you go with me? How can I do that? I'm just joking with you. Chen Mengyan quickly refused, I don't know him, and he didn't invite me. Why should I go? Hee, why don't I contact you after I'm done with my business tomorrow? Let's go shopping at night. Anyway, the supermarket closes late now. Most of them only close at 8 o'clock. Yang Ming was really afraid that Chen Mengyan would agree to go with him. That would be difficult. But fortunately, Chen Mengyan was a person who understood the big picture. Alright, then let's call again tomorrow. Chen Mengyan didn't care. It was the same when to buy it. She could go back home tomorrow morning. She hadn't gone home for a month. She was a little homesick. After hanging up the phone, Yang Ming fell into deep thought. Lu Weishan, although he only met Yang Ming a few times, his position in Yang Ming's heart was very high. If he were to evaluate Lu Weishan as a person, it would be that he was a good person. In the field of identifying jade, he was the one who led Yang Ming into the path. Although until now, he had only played the role of giving pointers, but there was a good saying, the teacher can lead the way, but the cultivation depends on the person. A teacher for a day, a father for life. Yang Ming was clear about this principle. It could be said that his current achievements were largely due to Lu Weishan. Yang Ming wasn't an ungrateful person who didn't know how to repay kindness. Moreover, Lu Weishan really treated him well. He was willing to let him live in his house for free. Maybe if it was someone else, Yang Ming would think that he had other motives. But looking at the current situation, Lu Weishan's position was many times higher than Yang Ming. What could he want from a student like Yang Ming? Of course, he didn't know that Yang Ming had that strange ability. Therefore, Yang Ming thought that the old man was a good person. Yang Ming, on the other hand, respected him like an elder. This time, it was the old man's birthday. Yang Ming had to express his sincerity no matter what. Money was no longer important to him. As long as he wanted to, he could earn more money. But the same problem was that Lu Weishan didn't lack money. How could he give a gift that could express his sincerity and be creative? Yang Ming was troubled. It was already 10 at night. It was impossible to go out and buy it. Tomorrow morning was more rushed. Obviously, it was impossible to choose carefully. Oh right. Yang Ming suddenly thought of something. If he gave that thing to old man Lu, he would definitely be happy. Thinking of this, Yang Ming immediately made a decision without hesitation. Yes, that gift was the piece of jade that he kept in the bank's safe. That piece of jade was worth more than 2 million. If it was made into a handicraft, the price would obviously increase by 5 to 10 times or even more. Yang Ming didn't feel reluctant at all. Yang Ming wasn't a stingy person, but he also didn't like to waste things. He thought that it was worth it. The friendship between him and old man Lu couldn't be measured by value. With the old man's interest, if he gave him a good piece of jade, he would definitely be very happy. After deciding on the gift, Yang Ming let out a sigh of relief. Drunk people woke up early. Zhang Bin and Tian Donghua woke up early, but Yang Ming was still sleeping. However, he was woken up by the sound of 2 people packing up in the shower. Yang Ming looked at the phone beside the bed. It was only 6 in the morning. But there were important things to do today, so Yang Ming didn't sleep too much. He put on his clothes and left the room. Zhang Bin and Tian Donghua were watching TV. Zhang Bin, today is old man Lu Weishan's birthday. Accompany me to his birthday banquet later. Yang Ming said. Me too. Is that okay? Zhang Bin asked. No problem. It's not like you don't know him. Yang Ming nodded indifferently. Okay, when are we leaving? Zhang Bin was also willing to attend Lu Weishan's birthday banquet. This was because when he was at home, Zhang Jifang reminded him more than once that if there was a chance, he must have a good relationship with Lu Weishan. This would be good for the family business. Let's leave after breakfast. We have other things to do first. Because Tian Donghua was there, Yang Ming didn't want to talk about the jade. Then I will change my clothes, and then we will leave. Old Tian, you should also pack up. Let's go eat breakfast together. Zhang Bin said and went back to his room. Oh. I am hungry too. Tian Donghua also went back to his room. Chapter 183. After breakfast, Zhang Bin drove his new car with a new license plate and drove Yang Ming to Zhang Jifang's company. Zhang Jifang had the key to the bank safe. Zhang Jifang was quite surprised that Yang Ming wanted to give such a valuable imperial jade to Lu Weishan as a birthday gift. He admired Yang Ming's character. At his age, it was rare that he didn't love money. Actually, it wasn't that Yang Ming didn't love money. Who didn't like money? But compared to friendship, money was nothing. Because of this, Zhang Jifang was really happy that Zhang Bin found a friend like Yang Ming. He believed that if his son was in trouble in the future, Yang Ming would definitely help him. Because of the importance of this matter, Zhang Jifang had to go to the bank personally. Otherwise, the bank couldn't just give the item to others. Zhang Jifang carefully took out the imperial jade from the safe. Then, he put it in a beautiful gift box that was prepared in advance. Then, he passed it to Yang Ming and reminded Zhang Bin, "You must drive slowly. This thing is very precious. Don't break it from the bumps." Zhang Bin and Yang Ming couldn't help but smile bitterly. Wasn't he being too careful? But Zhang Bin nodded and agreed. Yang Ming gave Lan Ling a call downstairs in the family area of Songjiang Industry University. He asked her to bring the invitation downstairs. Then, the three of them went to the White Swan Hotel. At the entrance of the White Swan Hotel, there were all kinds of luxury cars parked. A normal business car like Zhang Bin's was nothing. Zhang Bin parked the car. Yang Ming took the gift into the hotel. At the entrance of the hotel, Lu Weishan's disciple was in charge of receiving the gift and registering it. But because the imperial jade in his hand was too precious, Yang Ming was afraid that something might go wrong. He decided to give the gift to Lu Weishan personally. With the previous lesson, Yang Ming had to be careful. Although Yang Ming didn't believe that Lu Weishan's disciple would go against his conscience and steal the jadeite, he couldn't judge a book by its cover. This was a jadeite that was worth 2 million. It was hard to guarantee that someone wouldn't be tempted. "Please leave the gift with me." A disciple of Lu Weishan called Ho Rui blocked Yang Ming's path and pointed at the gift box in his hand. "No need, I will personally hand it over to Elder Lu." Yang Ming shook his head and said, "Elder Lu is so busy, how could he have the time?" Ho Rui saw that Yang Ming didn't look old and he was wearing a student uniform. He thought that he was Lu Weishan's current student. Naturally, he didn't think that he could give any high-end gift. Seeing that Yang Ming had rejected him, he felt that he had lost face and was somewhat displeased. "It's not a waste of time to send a gift," Yang Ming said indifferently. "Not a waste of time. If you give one, he will give another. The banquet won't need to continue." Ho Rui said coldly, "Hurry up, what's your name? I will register it for you." "Why is he holding the gift in his hand?" Yang Ming pointed at a fat man who just entered and asked. "Him. He is President Yun of Yun's Jewelry. His gift is worth at least 10,000 yuan. Naturally, he has to give it to Elder Lu personally." Ho Rui said disdainfully, "Who do you think you are? Can you be compared to him? My dad is Zhang Jifang of Zhang's Jade. I am his son. We are here to represent my dad." Zhang Bin, who didn't interrupt at first, suddenly said. Of course, he had heard of Yun's Jewelry. This was a big jewelry company in the area, but its main business was jadeite products. In terms of business, it was always better than Zhang Jifang. When Zhang Bin heard that this guy could enter directly, he naturally wouldn't back down. "Oh. Zhang's Jade." President Yun also heard Zhang Bin's words. He looked at Zhang Bin mockingly and said, "Heh, you are here to build a relationship with Elder Lu. But Elder Lu's standards are very high. You shouldn't take out an ordinary gift to embarrass yourself. Let's wait and see." Zhang Bin naturally knew what Yang Ming wanted to give. How could Zhang Bin fall behind when it came to making his family proud? Ho Rui was also a person in the jadeite industry. He had heard of Zhang Jifang of Zhang's Jade. Although Zhang Jifang's company wasn't big, it wasn't something a worker like him could compare to. He snorted and let the three of them in. Yang Ming looked at all this indifferently. He didn't want to be in the limelight. His current identity didn't match this piece of jadeite. Since Zhang Bin said so, Yang Ming saved a lot of effort. At that time, he could just say that he was here to represent Zhang Jifang. Yang Ming was very grateful to Zhang Jifang for this person. Before Yang Ming made a name for himself, he was just a poor friend of Zhang Bin. At that time, Yang Ming was willing to spend money to invite him to Yunnan and bring him to gamble on jadeite. From this point of view, it was enough for Yang Ming to be grateful. Therefore, Yang Ming instantly thought about the pros and cons of this matter in his mind. He didn't need Lu Weishan for now, but he could use Zhang Jifang's business. Since this was the case, why not go with the flow and pretend that the jadeite was sent by Zhang Jifang? This could also help him to build a relationship with Elder Lu. He believed that Elder Lu would take care of Zhang Jifang for his sake. After making up his mind, Yang Ming decided to embarrass that bullshit President Yun and Ho Rui who looked down on people. Lu Weishan's identity was very famous in the jewelry industry and academia. He had a lot of disciples. But today, most of the people who came were those in the jewelry industry. Other than carving jadeite, Lu Weishan's other identity was a famous connoisseur in the jewelry industry. Although there were fewer and fewer jadeites made by Lu Weishan, the value of the jadeite that he appraised would increase instantly. Therefore, Lu Weishan was naturally the target of every jewelry businessman. The entire White Swan Hotel was booked by Lu Weishan. There were a lot of empty seats. Yang Ming, Zhang Bin and Lan Ling casually found a seat and sat down. The birthday banquet hadn't started yet. It was the time for the guests to enter. Elder Lu hadn't appeared yet. After about 20 minutes, an MC took the lead and walked out from the backstage. The hall suddenly became quiet. Because once the MC came out, it meant that the birthday banquet was about to start. Sure enough, after a while, Lu Weishan walked out with his wife accompanied by a young woman. However, when Yang Ming saw the young woman, he was obviously stunned. Indeed, the woman was very beautiful. She had a unique charm of a mature woman. However, this wasn't what attracted Yang Ming's attention. Even if Yang Ming was lecherous, he wasn't so lecherous that he would open his mouth when he saw a beautiful woman. What made Yang Ming shocked was that this woman was actually Xiao Qing. How could she be with Lu Weishan? Yang Ming's mind was full of question marks. Could it be that they were relatives? Just when Yang Ming was shocked, the MC adjusted the microphone and handed it to Xiao Qing. Xiao Qing walked to the front of the big stage. Then, she smiled and said to the audience, "Thank you for taking the time to attend my father's birthday banquet. My daughter is very grateful. Now, I announce that the birthday banquet starts now." After she finished speaking, she bowed to everyone. Then, she returned the microphone to the MC and retreated to Lu Weishan's side. With Lu Weishan's status, he didn't need to speak personally. It was enough to wave and smile to the people below. The MC said a lot of auspicious words, but Yang Ming didn't listen. What he couldn't imagine was that Xiao Qing was actually Lu Weishan's daughter. How was this possible? He only heard Lu Weishan mention that he had a son, but he didn't say that he had a daughter. Moreover, Xiao Qing's surname was Xiao, and Lu Weishan's surname was Lu. How could they be father and daughter? Although many people changed their surname during the Red period, for example, Elder Fu Ming and his son Jia Zhigua in I Love My Family didn't have the same surname, but this was a rare case. Next, it was time for the important guests to present their gifts. These guests were different from others. They were basically the bosses of some famous jewelry companies in the country. For their gifts, Lu Weishan accepted them with peace of mind. These people had asked him a lot, and these people were very rich. So, he didn't reject their gifts. Lu Weishan also knew that Yang Ming was a person who valued friendship very much. If he told him his birthday in advance, he would definitely prepare a valuable birthday gift. Lu Weishan didn't want Yang Ming to spend money because he felt that he was very congenial with Yang Ming. How should he say it? It felt like he was family. If possible, Lu Weishan wanted to be closer to Yang Ming. This was a world of difference from the kind of relationship with others. So, Lu Weishan didn't treat Yang Ming as an outsider. He only told Yang Ming his birthday one night in advance. In order to show the value of their gift, every guest who presented their gift would open the gift box in advance. Firstly, it was to let Lu Weishan see their intentions. Secondly, it was to compare with others. So, in recent years, Lu Weishan's birthday banquet had become a place for them to compete with each other. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.